What is up? Welcome, one and all. The day has arrived. The competition has begun. I, of course, am Zephyr. What is up, Luke Coco 98? I'll say your name, but I won't say that last part. Whatever you say. Ultimately, we have got the lower bracket Octane finals going on. And what does that mean, right? Oh, hold on. Yeah, shout out to Atmosai right there. We've still got the points coming. Today is our day, guys. 300,000 points. We're at 320,000. We only need 180 more. Doing the math. Quick math. Thanks, Speed Demon. Welcome, one and all. Welcome, Atmo. Welcome, Luke. Welcome, Speed Demon. Shit, man. Here we go. All right. So today is the last real competition before we get into Premier Match Point Finals. Lobby looks pretty free. I expect at least a top 5 for ISU. Well, you know what? While we're here, let's take a look. All right? Because we've got all the information. So last week, day 4 of Octane Premier League. What happened? Group T, thank you for the points. What's up, Gravity? Welcome, Gravity. Day 4 of Octane Premier League, we saw the top 20 teams in Premier face off, while the bottom 20 teams also faced off. Top 10 moved on to Premier Finals. Bottom 10 were relegated, moving into what will be the entire Octane Collegiate Playoffs. We'll talk about that probably next week during Match Point. Right now, the goal is to get into Premier Match Point Finals. That's going to help you out with your seeding when we talk about the official playoffs after the fact. Either way, last week, we had 10 teams move on. Bellevue, no surprises there. Fisher with the new Serial Cat and Dom2 Cracked. Of course, Sloth on that team as well. Easy qual. Southern Miss, previous champions. Mez's squad, both KSU rosters. There's Cumberland shoring up the rear. Probably one of their weaker days, but you know what? They're going to figure it out. It's not good when Alter gets banned first. Cumberland kind of crutches on that shit. Either way, Southeastern from Oklahoma, they were the biggest surprise and the biggest setup of all the squads that did manage to make it. One of the lower-ended teams during the regular season that has slowly and progressively gotten better here. So, Vortec, Ideas, janked. We'll see how it goes. Dash there with a single win at the beginning of the day, making up over half of their score for Temple Cherry. And then Illini Orange. Yes, Group T, and of course not Koryu and Kayak, as double subs were unable to make it. So that means these bottom 10 will be the ones joining us. And there are some familiar names along this group. Yes, Iowa State University, the Blue Falcons from Toronto Metropolitan, University of Calgary, UCSD, Minnesota State Mavericks, St. Clair Saints, Western Outlaws, Hawaii, SJSU, Florida. All right? That's how it goes. Zephyr, I just want to say I enjoyed the stream yesterday. Well, I didn't, and that's all that matters. And we'll figure it out for the future, because that shit pissed me the fuck off. Anyways, either way, at the same time, during day 4, we had another section of teams that were playing. This was the bottom 20 teams. And while there are some fairly crazy ones, like Ottawa Braves down there, due to losing their points from the Mav cheater scandal, there are some squads who were very much on the cusp there. Tamu Maroon, Utah Valley Black, Augusta, a massive turnaround, I want to say, from UT Orange. Double wins on the day. What is that? Yeah, 4 top 4 placements. A very, very solid day for UT Orange. Kind of, I don't want to say out of character, but hey, shit, man, they looked really, really good. And the question is, can they do it again? Because most times, the answer is no. Of course, joining us alongside those 5 squads will be UT Tyler, Purdue Black, West Virginia Wesju Kaijin, Alabama, and RIT Black. So those are the bottom 10 teams from the lower 20s bracket. Meow, 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 Wizard. Welcome to stream. The 10 teams, though, that will not be joining us today, there is an exhibition match that will be played out. It doesn't really mean anything. But Gamerhawks, CSUF Blue Fullerton, Fair State, Indiana University, Pennsylvania, Full Sail Armada, Houston, Georgia Tech, Florida Gators. Really sad about the Florida Gators there. And then UT White. Those are the squads that ultimately are done for now. They've lost their chance to continue competing. And they will be back for the overall Octane playoffs when we get past the Premier Match Point Finals. All you really need to know about playoffs right now, this is the only thing you need to know. We have Premier League, we have contenders and we have open. All right? Those 3 leagues will combine. Are we having stuttery? Yeah. Sadly, that is just network being network today. I've got some marginally dropped frames, and all we can do is pray and hope that we can put themselves back together at some point. Because shit, man, the minute I get into game, it is gonna be pretty rough. Yeah, I'm losing about, what am I? How's it say? The benefit of living near Texas A&M is the fact that I get no damn the worst connection known to man. And so when I drop frames, I drop them like it's hot. All right? Also to note is that we are having Apex connection issues. And so hopefully the servers are good to us today. If they're not, expect delays. Because the last few scrims, if you weren't here on Tuesday and Wednesday, it was pretty gnarly. Yeah. Oh well. All I can do is hope and pray things inevitably fix themselves. All we can do. Let's take a look at the rest of the day here. Because that's what we're chugging along with. Oh, close Steam. I don't know why I had Steam up. Of course, we will be starting off on E-District here. And while I have some fan favorite rosters to watch out for, I mean, I don't know if Ottawa's a fan favorite at this point, but you can't count them out, I suppose. I don't think anybody... How do I say this? I don't know if anyone is a fan of Ottawa right now after what occurred earlier this season. End of the day, though, they're still highly competitive, and if the other members are eligible to compete, the other members are eligible to compete. That ultimately means that they are a threat. So they'll be starting off this game in Street Market for E-District when we go there at least first, I believe. Yeah, we will be starting on E-District. So Street Market right alongside the University of Houston, St. Clair Saints, and West Virginia Wesleyan. If one of those squads does not find themselves on an expedient rotate, I don't find Ottawa to be the most... All right, guys. Hopefully this is better. It does look like I'm still getting dropped frames, though, so I think we're just going to have to deal. But other than that, that is currently where we're at. So, like I said, not much I can do to fix it. It is literally just, here. I'm just going to type this. Consequence. All right. We'll pray if that fixes it. Anyways, the game has started. And that's the only thing that really actually matters here. We'll deal with the stutters as they come. If they fix themselves today, they fix themselves. If they don't, there's not much I can actually do. You guys, man, I'll tell you what. I fucking hate when that happens because it just zaps my energy completely. Like, I'm all set up. I'm ready to go. And I literally just can't stop that. There's nothing I can do. I can't restart the router. I can't restart my PC. It's just shit. And so now I'm just like, I'm fucking shot here mentally. It's like, it's not even fun to cast because I don't even know how much of the words you're able to pick up half the time. And I can literally see the frames dropping. I'm losing 60%. 60% of my frames is insane. Right? Either way, UT Tyler beat Minnesota State Mavericks, the closest of the two teams to start. Speed Demon, the first one to lead with the initial knock of our losers bracket finals. Jonkler and crew to follow suit just as quickly, and well, the rest of UT Tyler will be sending themselves back to the lobby almost immediately here. First team eliminated, and yes, one of our squads from the losers bracket. 9 days for 150K. Hey, 300 points on the board and 150K. More than enough time. We are sub 15,000. Welcome, Wizard. Welcome, Mank. Thank you, Mank, for the points. As sleepy as you are and as shitty as the stream is, I could do a prediction. I could do match quality. Here. We're kind of cheating because the stream has already started. But, yeah, whatever. There you go. You guys get a little of, maybe it's an easier prediction. Maybe it's a less easy prediction. There's a 5.0 over-under on the match point quality. All right, FSU Garnet last week started pretty darn rough. Of course, St. Clair Saints here looking for space across from them. Tries and finds the break on the castle wall. I can't believe Daxon's caught out there. First initial member down. Couple of bounces and booms from the Maggie ball from Abiz there. They've lost out on their primary member. It's just Little Hollow left to survive on the outskirts there. Long-range shots from Augusta, though, can potentially deliver what might be a third party to the situation. Still, couple full thirst and St. Clair getting their member back up in play. Could be reset. We'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, Texas A&M Maroon, fight of their own here all the way towards the north. There's that Rolling Thunder, expended out from Pear immediately to try and prevent what could be this assault. Take their time, get themselves reset and set back up. In the kill feed, Ottawa finding their first successful KP against the likes of University of Hawaii.
About time, eh?
Looks like Tamu Maroon have separated themselves from the action and should be able to, well, prior towards whatever retort it is. RIT Black ahead of them. University of Calgary on their side. Could potentially third party this. Lost Aimer very quietly taking their time on the outskirts here, potentially looking for this jump on that Tamu Maroon roster. They're moving very slowly. See if they get the catch on them. Point blank with no visual on Tamu for now. I think they've lost themselves in a little bit of the sauce of the action. Maroon is completely separated and we'll be heading towards the Blue Falcons. Looks like we're going to get that Humbert finish. Notables, Augusta, Minnesota State Mavericks, and Utah Valley. Do not watch me. I'll be honest with you, team. Not much I can do about that. These hands are limited in their exchange for what I get to pick up on. Sadly for IT Black, whoever it was they found that drop on, I believe it was Throx, they're on their way out. Thank you for the Gamba.
Let's go here.
Yeah, no problem, Wizard. It's 100% on the over. I'll tune back in a bit. I'll see you soon, Wizard. All right. Tamu Maroon sets themselves up on high. Last we saw a little bit of Calgary behind them. Toronto Metropolitan out in front in the form of the Blue Falcons. I don't think you're going to see much from them for now. Most teams are going to be prioritizing getting to zone here sometime soon. Meanwhile, Tamu Maroon up above. Looks like, meanwhile, Calgary out towards the west did find that initial drop onto SJSU Blue. Massive knocks to follow suit with Nkoso being eliminated. And it is just Shmub. You can hear porting this one out. Might have been Lost Aimer, though, taking his time on the phase. Either way, bad starts for SJSU on the outskirts here. Looks like Alabama also struggling in that kill feed for now. Oh, they found him. Yeah, SJSU Blues not much of a hard click away there, so definitely setting themselves up. We'll tune in more directly to zone here. Might be a full send, might not. For the Minnesota State Mavericks, they've got themselves quite a bit of a handle here on the ending of zone. The only question is if they can set themselves up for a, perfect finish. It's a very, very hard area to hold on to, and Humbert allows so many teams. Plus, it can cater towards the west side or the east side. Minnesota have taken their poison to trade on that eastern side, so let's see how it goes. Ottawa holding out these teams all the way to the north, though. They're not a team that's looking to play the macro directly. Already trying to set themselves up for that early KP that we are so well acquainted of. A couple of castle walls, or a couple of charge barriers? I don't know what it's called. I don't know. Either way, couple of barriers in tow there to see if they could potentially set themselves up for a little bit of a hold of what was the University of Alabama, who does get their third member back into play after that initial knock. A couple other squads here in the heart of zone, Augusta being one of them.
There's a clueless bogey out there.
Well, that's the best I can do in terms of visual. UCSD Gold, we've seen a lot of really, really great content out of Lucian this split in terms of being an excellent fragger for this roster. Set up on the south side of zone. They've got, I mean, everyone's got a handle on themselves. Shout out to the 19 squads remaining. Round 2, though. Small Guy was talking about this a little bit earlier, saying this might be the most competitive roster or most competitive lobby we see all split long. And I do agree. I think it's going to start out that way. I'm most curious to see if it stays that way, especially with the pressure on the line, shooting for the top 10. A couple teams might get a little bit more aggro as time goes on. Western Outlaws down below Augusta here on the northern side of zone, St. Clair on the outskirts, and the majority of our teams playing for Humbert as a whole here. A couple of squads like Tamu and Alabama and Ottawa not in the presence of the Humbert area, but in the end, we'll see if it really matters. Rumbly there getting peeked over on the side. We can only maybe attribute that to Minnesota from where was their position originally. Still, though, able to find themselves back up into a place of good health. Looks like that's actually more the Iowa State roster. Point blank with nowhere to go. Kamal, initial beams and going to send out the Bamboozle for the Boozles. That's it for Group T, and with just one member left standing, Iowa doesn't even get the chance to play out that fight. A complete wrap in an instantaneous absolution there from the UCSD roster. Gotta say, it might have come back to positioning. We sadly didn't get to see where Group T was in that entirety, and you know what? In the end, is what it is.
Over here.
A couple of final squads. University of Calgary taking their time out west. That can play out very good for the Calgary roster. They're the only team to work their way in the west for now. We'll have to see how it turns out. All right. Ottawa Braves, they are one of those teams that have, yes, continued to hold on to the north for now. RJ extending all the way out here towards the edge to see if they can punish just a couple of more teams. Does get that drop on Shake on the outside, notably, not on the interior there. So it is a long-range knock, in part due to RIT playing the deep backside there. This is going to deny a complete elimination, but Cloak does get that final thirst on Shake in part with RIT. So 1 KP for that roster. Tamu Maroon looking for their exit out of the choke for now. Got that charged wall potentially to work with if they can play around it. Meanwhile, for Ottawa, probably being shot out from RT in the back, and now with the pressure of Tamu not kind of falling directly to them, they're going to have to work their way back. They do have that Kraber now in the hot seat for RJ here. Can definitely track and line it up with Texas A&M at any given point here if they're not careful. SJSU Blue able to get the reset for their roster. Same for the University of Hawaii here. Shake coming just about back right now. We'll see how things go. UCSD, we talked a little about the University of Calgary out here towards the west. You got a little bit of a hook line, sinker line drive on them for now. We'll see how they'll do. Of course, controlling all this space can be very difficult, but look at that in the kill feed. Minnesota State Mavericks, double knocks onto the RIT roster. Single members remaining, and they take this height so expediently. Does look like that is going to be one member of RIT allowed to survive after what was their transition, but it's not a healthy one. Meanwhile, RJ letting me know that Ottawa has decided to rotate all the way through the west as West Virginia Wesleyan picks off that final member here of RIT Black, bringing us down to our 17 squads just before the privity of our round 3 close. See how it goes. UFC continuing to rotate down. Ottawa maybe a little bit separate there. Who died first? First team eliminated was... I think it might have been FSU. I think it was FSU. Yeah. All right. Sorry. I was way too distracted in the early game, and I'm having really bad network issues, so I'm having massive trouble focusing. Texas A&M Maroon finally able to make their way out of the choke for now. We see a little bit of that height taken away from them. Pair trying to get these alternative angles into what could be their start. Meanwhile, the University of Calgary here still stuck out over towards the edge of UCSD. We'll see how it goes.
Target over there.
Those grounds.
Time on the board. FSU Garnet, not the first team eliminated. My apologies. It looks like even though Daxon and Balvini were dropped down, they were able to get the reset. So, sorry, Kindly Monkey. Not quite the analysis I thought it was. Like I said, a little distracted. Knocks onto SJSU as Tamu finds their initial starts here. Meanwhile, West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju with the response onto Purdue for now. Double knock drops as Quote re-responds towards the Tamu roster and could potentially be the end of them there. Full thirst on the Navern pair just leaving Swifty, and well, not much to say past that. Choked out in a final follow-through from SJSU. It looks like it was a complete third party from Ottawa out towards the west there. That's what Tamu gets for playing edge, even though they suck dick at it. All right, University of Hawaii here, able to set themselves up on the edge, even though they got that early knockdown. Alabama trying to hold things out, but with 54 seconds to go, most of these teams are going to have to work their way out of the Humbert area. West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju held out by the Minnesota State Mavericks there, lost out on Kai and Drake, one of the best fraggers, and now fence lines down. The Minnesota squad are beginning to pressure this. Trev Michi does wait on the outskirts there for what can potentially be those rotates. Able to get the port play back to Kai and Drake, but remember, from up on high, you're going to have to play for defense. A quick jump of the jet keeps West Virginia maybe in the driver's seat for now. Trev Michi almost gets knock dog, drag out, but a good peek from Speed Demon does at least find more here. Minnesota can potentially commit towards that reset, but Schmalz is going to go for the climb here. Look for that final moment, but doesn't quite have that height. Fence line upon fence line with 6 seconds to go. They need to prioritize health above all. Even still, one quick jump up from height to Schmalz there does at least give them the context of at least major health advantage. They have the time to do a little bit more, but already are getting choked out from Humbert on high. Remember, they didn't finish that fight from behind. Instead, Augusta choking them out above and, well, trying to continue to do so. Best opinion of mine is just get the KP while you can. Purdue Blacks, Waukee inevitably found out as a rat here, as Minnesota are going to have to play alone, maybe just short behind UT Orange as they miss out on the entirety of their roster. Goblin on top, Kraber in. Okay. This might help. This might not help. It already seems like it's probably not going to help. Okay. I reset it again to try and help it a bit. Okay. We skipped to the end of the game, but it looks good now. All right, I fixed it. I looked it up. All I had to do was establish a dynamic bitrate. So the solution was taking, basically saying, so you'll lose out on some quality during game. Like the game won't look perfect now anymore, but it won't chop, it won't stutter. That's the trade-off. So I will not maintain perfect bitrate anymore, but you guys will at least get, hopefully, less stuttering now and no dropped frames. That's our trade-off. Since the game just kind of finished, and we're going to get in a second really quick, Blue Falcons won it. Yeah, Blue Falcons won it. You had dynamic off. It wasn't included in my old OBS. I just updated OBS like a month ago, so it wasn't a thing back then. All right, there we go. Anyways, let's hop into game while we have a chance.
That way.
There we go. 19 squads remaining. I apologize for missing the very beginnings of game 2, but we should be running a hell of a lot better. Predictions never quite. I can't believe you guys were so far behind. There you guys go. There's a prediction that we had. Blue Falcons 5.5 KP. Minnesota obliterate UTT to start left, so you didn't miss much. Same shit as usual. This time around, we're going to say goodbye to UT alongside the likes of UT Tyler. Both Texas schools shit in the bed right off the bat. We'll say goodbye. Granny's fine, round 4 of game 1. That is so crazy. Now, there you guys go. Better on the board, better to watch, something to work with. In the end, just had to tweak a setting or two. For the likes of the UT Tyler and UT Orange School, they may not be sister squads, but they are sister schools. They'll be done and dusted the first time here. Meanwhile, Iowa State University, they're the ones on the chase for this fight. We saw them last time around shitting the bed against UCSD. Struggle and a half for the ISU roster, and Purdue Black are going to get themselves completely rotated out of the equation. Meanwhile, more wipes from the likes of Minnesota in that kill feed there. Incroc completely thirsted. What the fuck is Augusta doing? What is FSU doing? What are we doing? Okay. Well, we walked point blank into Minnesota and fed them a straight kill here. It's just Daxon left alive. I don't know if we've even got Daxon anywhere nearby anymore, but hey, point blank with a couple of RE45 shots. Trev's going to try to look for that exterior climb up that we see so many players pull off for the quick jump. Speed Demon drop down. This tells you this ain't them. Schmiggles from UVU has come to play on a third party here. Trev's going to try to see, well, no, actually, it's going to be Schmalls. No smoke available, and Daxon's already out running for the hills here for the rest of the F2 roster. Meanwhile, for UCSD, we've seen them contesting this building for building here. Lucian and Rumbly low. University of Hawaii on the outskirts. Still a 2v2 scenario there. Could try to stick this revive onto Ushake, but is choked out from the other side of zone there. Still, 2v2 scenario, and Gerald not much healthier themselves. Gonna have to work their way outside as, well, you got long-range shots that are punishing here. Looks like it is Ottawa Braves on the outskirt of that fight who could potentially send it at any given moment. Meanwhile, RIT Black, they go from failure in the first game to, well, maybe a little bit more of that on this one. Lost aimer with one, and the follow-through just as quickly means for RIT Black, it may not be long for this world there. A couple of gas traps are going to slow UFC for some reason, but the follow-through definitely still on its way. Carvester with the knock on the back foot there as FPS Aether's chasing out what I can only assume is that final remaining member of RIT all the way on the outskirts. All right. Should be fine for now. Ottawa with a couple class action wipes there on what probably is some of these final members. Logan separated from the roster, chase out. UCSD goals, Lucian there. Shot from both sides. Will take us down to the 17 squads remaining. And I'm already telling you, the speed and quality is going to get worse and worse as this goes on, and teams begin to feel the pressure to perform. Tamu Maroon, one of those teams that should hopefully be feeling the pressure to perform here. Kind of suck dick. Point blank with a couple of nades with Pyro's first knock there. A peek on the back from Swifty does get a knock response, but Texas A&M Maroon just can't handle their ones anymore. That's it for game 2 for them. They're going to have to redraw their strats when we get to Storm Point and World's Edge here in a second. West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju playing more directly into the heart of zone here.
Let's rush over there.
A couple of scritches on the Zephyr Nas. Not much to say there. Did you get any predictions, by the way? All right, we had an under on the Blue Falcons. Pretty heavy under. Well, I'll tell you what, they already got the 3 KP there, so bad bets.
Let's migrate over there.
I always hate this zone. We talk about the difference of the fence line and the teams that set themselves up there outside a high point. I mean, it just gets rough. Don't know what's happening with FSU. It looks like they get full sent upon by University of Hawaii with Jackson not really that much further away. It is instead actually a third party from Ottawa. Hello, Ottawa. Sparrow ultimate down, and the remnants of Ottawa now dropping from above. They're looking for Thole Thirst where they can get them, and while yes, they'll find them at the hit of RJ here, One final remaining member will push the University of Hawaii out in 6th place. They did lose out in Cloaked in Full, though, from that commit to the low ground, so gonna have to fully find themselves a Moby and get themselves reset back up, or at least go for a reset there and maybe what could be Viaduct. Inevitably, Calgary does find Parsnips, that final remaining member of RIT, after their long and extended rotate to kill them. They're going to be all the way on the outside of zone there as a result. SJSU early wipes last time around and now still stuck towards the outskirts of zone here. We saw Florida State University trying to put themselves up down here. Yeah, that is going to be Florida State. Just the single remaining member in Daxon. All right.
Enemy spotted.
Couple more nose itches for the Zephyr.
Target over there. Enemy spotted.
Blue Falcons are winners from last game, trying to find their way into the edge of zone here to cross underneath the building from now. Landing on our bins is cringe as shit. I'll tell you what, Jonkler, end of the day, you're either capable of taking the con or you're not. That is the, man, dude. I remember the days when we used to have teams landing directly on the same bin every single game, 6 games in a row. You just had to fight that shit. So, you may say cringe, I say a little taste of the past. ISU Farmers here. Hopefully their taste will look a little bit more successful. 53 on the shielding. With a couple deep line drives from Kamal on the other side. Kai and Drake dropped, and final remaining member there actually on the outskirts here. Doesn't quite get that initial drive, and Group T is going to regroup with that squad. The ISU Farmers putting themselves back up on height where they have a little bit more of an advantage. Even still, shot out. West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju. Kai and Drake back into play, and I can only assume this is the port all the way from the edge there. A couple of final major shots from Dean PS. As we can see, the Calgary roster has full scented upon the likes of ISU on the other side. That's it for Kamal, and potentially we'll see Group T and the rest follow suit here. Western Outlaws, we tune in with them with a long-range excursion against Alabama for now. Dean PS with the re-knock onto Asian Hawk Pro, and that leaves just Group T. Yeah, the landing go with there is no contesting rule, OI. Or, Jonkler. Yeah, there's no con. Farmers get wrapped from both sides of the equation. West Virginia on one side, of course, a little bit on the other. SJSU Blue down below, and a port play comes right on top of them here. Not quite sure who it might have been. Might have just been for the recovery of the banner. As Ottawa still on the tear up above. Didn't OU get a warning for that during the league match? Scrims might be. Even then, I don't think so. Ottawa Braves building for building here. I don't quite know who they're up against. Either way, slowly fighting their way in. They got a read and a half. Beautiful nades to start. Art Stars to boot. Logan with the drop on the Little Hollow means that this is the freshly reset FSU roster. Looks like Daxon from behind the knockdown shield, forced to play through the phase here. Could track this one out. Balvini Guy and Little Hollow eliminated as they won't be able to track Daxon completely. Remember, last time we saw this zone, by the way, it was Daxon ratting into the top 5. So she can pull this off. It is a scrim roll. There you go.
Looks good. I don't blame him.
All right, University of Calgary on the outskirts here from where we saw ISU. The final moments of Alabama here on the other side of the wall is, yes, Jackson will be forced to run. Okay, looking at the edge of zone, let's get a read. I think this pulls west side, as usual. Yeah, okay. So, Ottawa and that building towards their east, that's going to be the prime real estate, but more importantly, bridge. Right? Who holds on to that eastern bridge at the very final moment? That could be absolutely crucial for these end games. Couple of big shots there from West Virginia Wesleyan, choking out the likes of Calgary from their rotate here. SJSU now down below in their own way. Got a lot of pressure from Ottawa on SJSU. and West Virginia Wesleyan on Calgary here. SJSU able to sustain the revive before the Sparrow ultimate comes on its way. Meanwhile, Pyro and the Toronto crew able to find knocks of their own. The elimination on Augusta. There's RJ eliminated.
Let's go over there.
Full wiped here from Shmub in the SJSU roster. Trev Michi with a re-assault there and a full wipe onto Purdue. And we've got half of these teams just absolutely on critical overload. St. Clair Saints, one of the few teams that are able to present themselves in the head of these buildings here. That building was empty. Ottawa now down a member, so even better real estate. Minnesota State Mavericks pushing for the south side here. This is one of the harder places to play from, but hey, if you're going to survive into the top 5, this can do it. Still, have to survive what will be these rotates from the east here, and a lot of those teams that are going to set themselves above, or my apologies, below you here as time goes on. Blue Falcons on bridge. That is the scary thing right now. Blue Falcons, winners of Game 1, do currently present themselves on bridge. Might have the chance for more. Meanwhile, St. Clair Saints with the Kraber knock on to the Ottawa Braves in the center of their building. One final remaining member as we see the choke from UVU against UFC. Daxon as a rat finding Viking Cap. Caught out there. Western Outlaws down below. Gonna have to retreat back to their port, but could be running right into the University of Minnesota. Trev Michi with that initial knock. Full send for a second. And the Outlaws get absolutely shredded here in the southern side. Have to be careful, though. The Falcons can always look for that repeat re-entry here. University or Utah Valley Black. Crossing distance, point blank on the door. Shooting a couple of the Calgary roster. Don't know where the rest of them may have landed themselves. The only full team in this building is themselves. Meanwhile, Exodus finally wiped out. Minnesota State Mavericks are officially wrapped here from the Blue Falcons. And I will say, this does give a lot of pressure away from that bridge, but this is a round 5 into 6 that showcases that we are going to be playing directly here into this area. Point blank now with nowhere to go. The Blue Falcons should try to opt to regroup there because at the same time, Purdue from up on high finding at least a major knock. Looks like it was just Joaquin with the Kraber. Single member rat throwing a wrench into the plans here. Blue Falcons able to get the reset, and we take a look at the north side of zone. SJSU Blue. Ottawa stuck in their building. SCC on the outskirts. West Virginia Wesleyan choked out by the likes of SCC. We gotta do a little bit better catching the action. All right, SCC, they wipe out the northern side there. West Virginia Wesleyan. Can someone send me the overstat for these games? It's pinned. My lovely Jet Watt, thank you for the follow. It is officially pinned. There you go. All right. Up on high on the bridge. This can be a good transition for the likes of St. Clair Saints Green. They have to set themselves up for it. Blue Falcons are going to be holding this hyper aggressively, and even if you take this somewhat successfully, you're just going to be wrapped in the backside by Ottawa. And then if it's not Ottawa, it's SJSU Blue, who, albeit, are in their own scenario where they have to deal with the Braves. Here comes Ottawa. What the fuck am I saying, bro? Point blank, Ottawa from behind. A little bit of a choke from pressure from the Blue Falcons. Ottawa comes in to wrap as a duo, and now even Blue Falcons getting pressured in their own way here. Knock drag Kraber on the broken shield there, and they don't have a lot of space to move. Up on high or the shred of that fence line. Just gonna take their time. Even still, top of that wall, so preferential. Meanwhile, the Ottawa Braves, space for space here against SJSU Blue, but it's a long-range knock from KQL. Blue Falcons have got one final member down. Logan eliminated. It's a good wipe from the Blue Falcons. Of the 4 squads remaining, one of the top 3 still left alive here. Kraber in hand, trying to see if they can overpeak a little bit of SJSU Blue behind those boxes. This could be the double dub here for the Blue Falcons. 2 games in a row. I mean, Utah Valley Black are going to use... here's the thing. Utah Valley Black are going to lose out on their height. They're going to go down to the low ground. They're potentially going to rotate behind SJSU Blue, who are eliminated already. It is a 3v3 scenario here against Utah Valley Black and the Blue Falcons, and Utah Valley Black has Daxon as a rat right behind them. If you don't think Daxon's not going to take someone with her on your drop, you're crazy. Unless Daxon prioritizes her life. I mean, she's got the rip ready to go. It's a full wipe there. Okay, it's a straight 3v3 scenario. Out through the zip line. Sheila missing. Fence line down, and Schmiggles is cracked beyond all ahead. A full knock on the Incrock, and you do not have the time to heal. I can't believe I'm saying this with one final member to go in the water. It is a double dub for the Blue Falcons. Holy shit. What a start and a half here. Congratulations. Let's take a look at that scoreboard because it is a easily secured success for the Blue Falcons. That game alone, just game 2, let me make sure. Just that game alone, 34 points here. I wouldn't say it's a record, but it sure as hell is a lot. 22 KP right there alongside them. 8 for 8 for 6 on Pyro. Double wins back to back. I mean, shout out. I asked you guys over under Blue Falcons 5.5 KP. They walk away with 22 here. I mean, we've still got a plethora of game time to work with, so we've got some time. I'm going to start with that prediction at least first. Congratulations to those who won it. We're going back over under Blue Falcons. We got to raise the stakes now. Let's go 9.5 KP. We're going to add 4 to the mix. We've got a bit longer time here, so I'm going to give it 5 minutes. You guys got 5 minutes to get your predictions in. Over, under 9.5 KP for the Blue Falcons. All right. Shout out where it's due. The Blue Falcons, 34 points. Ottawa, though, still highly aggressive with their KP. 13 on the board, and actually a better placement this time that converts to a 17th finish. Half of the score of the Blue Falcons, but one that will definitely keep them in the distinct running when we talk about making their way to the finals here. Meanwhile, Utah Valley Black do work their way into second place. Weren't able to convert on that rotate and inevitably get wiped out. This is more fun than the exhibition match. Ah, shit, that's right. You guys are playing the exhibition match. Don't play the exhibition match. What's the point? Like, you don't lose anything for not playing the exhibition match. Just come watch my stream instead. You know? What's the point? All right. I also can't believe no one's allowed to watch party the exhibition match. What are we doing here? You're taking the exhibition out of exhibition. Anyways, we still got plenty of time before we get into game. 9.5 KP over under on the Blue Falcons. Get your bets in. Minnesota State Mavericks, they walk out of that game with 10 KP. Another wealth of KP to work with. Who are the Blue Falcons? The Blue Falcons are from Toronto Metropolitan University. They consist of the roster Kekal, Nitfen, and 6 Pyro here. They have been competing relatively, I would say, within that kind of top 10 to top 15 range of the Premier League. Notably, last week, they did fall in the top 20 lobby in an uncharacteristically bad fashion. So, not the best scenario, but now coming into this one, they are arguably one of the best rosters to compete here alongside teams like the Ottawa Braves, like Minnesota State Mavericks. So, definitely a squad to watch out for. Even when it wasn't last week, they were pretty regularly consistent among the rest of the groups here. So, really great performance from them, albeit is a slightly weaker lobby this week. We take a look at the remnants of the rest of this match here. Not a lot of KP to share, just single fight wins for SEC, for West Virginia Wesleyan. Calgary gets ISU, and the rest of the points spread, once again, very low numbers for teams I have a lot of high preference for. Western Outlaws still struggling. Exodus should not be walking away with 6 points. That's tough. ISU Farmers, remember last week they were 11th out of 10th when we talk about going into the qualification for the top 10. Just barely missed up. Yeah, no one showed up for the exhibition. How many people showed up to the exhibition match? All right. My observer really prioritize the kill feed because you'd be missing a lot. Huh? It's okay. All right. There's a reason why nobody's allowed to watch it, because I assumed it would be a shit show, and it indeed is. Good thing we're getting rid of it and revamping Premiere as a whole. How delayed am I? Okay, hold on. I know I'm a little bit behind. 2 Canadians on top, gross. Okay, I think I'm definitely behind y'all, because you guys are like answering questions from like XYZ minutes ago. All right, whatever. Big failures for Tamu. Big sad for Zephyr. Overall scoreboard. Wait, this is my question. I'm going to clap. Tell me when I clapped so I can see how delayed I am. All right, 55 points for the Blue Falcons there. An absolute Chad scenario. Double wins on the board. They are qualified. They are on their way to Premier Finals. The average setup is usually 36. So they have more than acquainted themselves with that. Ottawa, they just have to participate. They are also on their way. It's a big start for the Minnesota State Mavericks, even though they only finish in 9th and 12th respectively. Their KP is carrying them quite the distance. Western Outlaws here 19, Calgary 19 respectively. A tight race, but ultimately these kind of early leads in the first 2 games are going to secure you a top 10. Now, top 10 is still sitting at 9 points, but remember, it especially in a more even lobby like this, we can get as high as 36 to 38 to 40. Clapped? Jesus. That is so bad. I'm about 40 seconds behind y'all. I typed it in chat. You'll see it. Am I getting pinged? I just got pinged in the crew. Oh. My boy Anthony got married. Shout out to Axie. Texas A&M. Oh, what a go. All right. Itching my nose. Itching my nose. Itchy, itchy, itchy as it gets. 13 for Utah Valley. Augusta with 13. Florida 11. St. Clair 11. 9 for UT Orange. I mean, we're tough. It's still time and a half to go. And by the way, we've still got time and a half till we get to World's Edge. So let's take a look at those drops. Notably, let's look at the Blue Falcons. They are over by Overlook. So I'm even more happy that Tamu Maroon is not playing Geyser today, because you do not want to be running into the Blue Falcons. UCSD Gold, though, and West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju, maybe a little bit more manageable. We'll see if they can make that a turnaround. Blue Falcons got themselves the entire eastern side of zone, but they are next to the Minnesota State Mavericks, who have shown quite a bit of aggression this early. Ottawa Braves out west in Fissure alongside FSU, who should be able to escape. But teams like UT Orange, RIT Black, and ISU Farmers, who could send it on to UT Tyler. We saw Minnesota send it on to UT Tyler 2 times in a row. I would not be surprised to see ISU do the same. All right. Who was the last team I wanted to talk about? Western Outlaws and Harvester. I mean, they got some chance. I think Twitch is dying in general. Schmal's stream is having buffering issues at time, as well as some other streams I'm watching. I want you to know I just read that message, so if however long it took me to read that message is how long it took me to buffer. Could be a bad day for Twitch. Amazon servers, remember, are what control Twitch these days, and so unless you are like preferential placement of like a partner, I mean, shit can get bad. So, is what it is. Okay. We've got that. Let's check and see if we are officially in game. We had quite a bit of a delay. There we go. Match starting in 5. One thing I wanted to point out is that we do have that alter ban. So teams that play off of that safety, that kind of get out of jail free card, no longer have that option. So that is going to be a huge difference here for the quality of what transpires. A lot of teams tend to abuse that to try and get themselves an extra leg up on, just working their way in late to zone, fighting a team more aggressively, making a poor choice in terms of when and how to take a fight, etc. So those squads are going to have a little bit of a harder time. Ultimately, though, we'll just have to wait and see. Teams do tend to temper themselves a little bit more when the altar does tend to go away. Bulldog Kush. Sick. I don't know what that is, but sick. Tobrick, welcome. We got a silly buffery stream today, but I'll tell you what, I'm still happy to see you nonetheless. Thank you for the points, and thank you to Sir Garrison earlier. Group T is spoiling the action. He has said, we are fucked. So I'm not quite sure what that means for ISU, but it may not be very good. He loves Zeph. Hey! Swiggy Squid, good to see you. Oh, it's not just me. My video seems to be cutting out. Yeah. I think we're all struggling just a little bit here. All right. Either way, game 3. That's where we currently lead. If you're interested in seeing where the points currently fall, I should have a pinned message that I just realized got rid of itself because I turned off stream. There you go. Pinning that again. There you guys go. Worst case, just pause and unpause the video, and maybe you'll jump right up to the future. We've got our 20 squads on the board here. The question mark of the day is, as we approach World's Edge, who's going to turn this one around? We've had a heavy lead by the Blue Falcons with 2 wins on the board. They are working in Overlook, and already right off the bat, we are going to be playing for a Southern Side Siphon Zone. Make me mod, Zephyr. I got you. For what? What? Oh, I gotta know what that means. In what world? In what you trying to moderate out here?
There's an Egypt.
Dang, that was really weird. The audio was so quiet out wherever we were at. That was like silent.
How about we reposition over there?
I'm doing a small Zephyr check on the notifications while I have a chance. I'll pin all your scores and make commands and stuff.
Evo harvesters are online.
Alright, ISU farmers, we've been spoiled a little bit. Ty came and said, Group T came and said hello to us in the middle of our start, so we already know this might not be the best start for them, and with Kamal already down here against the likes of UT Tyler, I don't know if this is going to work out any better. Let's see how the story unfolds here, because while we may know the end, we don't know the beginning, middle, and, well, I guess, and we do know. All right, whatever. Shot out with a couple of quick scans there. UT Tyler aren't particularly the healthiest, but could be in the driver's seat. We saw Jonkler give them the information they needed, and now crossing to the building as a whole here. It is a 3v3 scenario. And Topher down below trying to heal this up. ISU are quite a bit healthier. What are we doing? There we go. Couple of burns on the edge there. Double cracks against the UT Tyler squad, but the push in from Agent Hulk Pro brought down by Topher. UT Tyler now giving themselves the chance to reset here. Kamal and Group T unable to find the knocks they want. Instead, a Noxcast grenade finds a perfect slow there from Topher. Jonkler peeks the other side, and ISU are the first team eliminated here. Meanwhile, the University of Calgary v UT, somewhere else on the outside of the map here. We'll tune into the University of Texas Orange, setting themselves up for a little bit of a reset behind the castle walls there. Caden and, my lord, Orange Z so low, racing away down towards the staging side. Hashtag Koryu was not the problem. Hey, you take that beef up with Group T. University of Calgary here. I think they've got themselves the wrong read now. University of Texas have made their way out so aggressively. All right. Calgary still. Shit, UT should have run a little bit further than that. That was not much of a run. Either way, they have lost out on FPSA there, and pressuring UT away gives them the opportunity to get this revive up. But I'll tell you this, Ottawa Braves right there on the outskirts of Harvester is always going to be a scary thing to behold. Texas A&M in their own fight here against UCSD. Response knocks from Lucian, and now Ottawa Braves potentially sending in the Harvester. That's going to be knock for knock on Nabber down. It's up to Swifty, potentially 2v1 this out. Habaneros wiped out, and it's Lucian v Swifty here. Swifty's got a bit of that health advantage as Lucian's looking to stick, any kind of health. Races back up to height, pushes, and then a quick wrap from Swifty. It's all Swifty all day long. It's the first successful wipes for Texas A&M Maroon, and potentially a turnaround. What happened to Kamal, bro? He used to 1v3 teams like UTT. He's washed. All right. We'll see how it goes. Remember, no one is technically eliminated from Octane Premier League or Octane Playoffs. You're just eliminated from Premier League Match Point Finals, which is going to screw up your seeding for playoffs. Everything here is to try and decide where you end up in the playoffs, whether in semifinals or round one. All right, point blank Blue Falcons here. We've seen them win for wins, but now getting shot out on the other side. The follow-through from the University of Houston looking for both of this KP. If I was TMU, I know I've got that entire eastern side clear. I'd be playing this one back, but instead, point blank on the G7 Scout doesn't quite get that port play off to get Nickman back into it. So as a result, TMU are going to have to really set themselves up. Steve actually sit there, still believe. Yeah. They engaged when I was in trials. That's tough. That's tough. Alright. We'll see if TMU can set themselves back up. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter because they've already qualified. We're just looking to get them into a preferential place for seeding. Purdue Black, more in the hard zone, playing the end game more directly. Meanwhile, RIT first knocks down as the Ottawa Braves have been chasing this roster for what feels like miles. We're fucking with Cloak here. All right, there we go. Throx, full wiped out. The Ottawa squad, in that time, probably has lost out on the rest of the team there. Oh, no. Instead, finds this, not a rat, but finds one of the members here. I don't know what we're doing. We're just point blanking. Actually, it was a solo. Parsnips caught out. Single long-range shot from Cloak. And we're down to the top 17 here again.
R99 here. Good recoil. Let's go over there.
Blue Falcon's going to go for the crafter out there and Geyser and get themselves reset up. Meanwhile, SEC playing the carts with Purdue Black not too far away in the building themselves. See how it sets up. Tam and Maroon and Utah Valley Black
We should go there.
making their way out from the east there in stacks. Got to get to the other side of this zone, or the other side of that wall there. You want to be playing the Lava Siphon side, and most teams have already set themselves up for one of the best spots to work their way into the end games here. We'll see how it goes. University of Hawaii taking their time a lot slower than I would have expected, especially on a rotate here, and they're even going to opt to maybe all the way up towards the central choke instead of Geyser side, which is where those TMU resets are occurring. Yep, they're not going to go for Blue Falcons. Instead, Blue Falcons just barely get themselves reset and put back together. Meanwhile, UT Tyler beat UT Orange all the way towards the northwest there. Could break out into something as one team holds off another outside of landslide.
We should go here.
Yeah, guys.
Cancel that.
West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju struggling in their own embers against Ottawa, but they do find that knock against RJ there. Logan's low, and a peek onto Cloak means that West Virginia just needs one more from behind the box. Quick resets on what I can only assume is the power amp there for Kion Drake, or maybe even the reset revive. Even still, you're walking point blank into the muzzle of West Virginia Wesleyan. It's a massive chunk of success against one of the best rosters here. Able to get themselves turned back here as we tune in with the Blue Falcons. They've got the hardest rotate to zone, so I don't know if we'll be seeing another Blue Falcon stuff. Meanwhile, UVU struggling, or finding themselves so successful against this reset against West Virginia Wesleyan. A couple of long-range Sheila shots there. We'll find these full wipes as it's just Dean PS in the corner. And for what was such a good start for the West Virginia roster, the third party is just as quick. Full swing to the outskirts, and for the West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju, it's not going to be a high-point game. only wiping out Cloaked in the Ottawa squad gets you 3 KP. Utah Valley Black now set up for another quick response against Alabama. Ottawa equal overhyped. Might be. We'll see how it goes. Tamu Maroon holding out the edge of Geyser. This could be former winners. Blue Falcons. A couple of nades force them off the building for now, but no, instead it is the University of Hawaii working their way out of Geyser themselves. A couple more extended nades as they're forced to run away there from Pear's Rolling Thunder. This is going to push them back completely low. U-shake over towards the side, tracks just a bit, but in the end, this team can re-assault whenever they want there. Nice port play, gets TMU the opportunity. And here's the thing, even if they don't get knocks, even if Texas A&M doesn't get KP, they want to keep controlling the pressure on the eastern side here. You want to be one of the few teams walking in, and to do that, you need to force this squad back. Pear on the wrong side of peeking these squads, and in the end, has to go for the heal, giving a lot of space to the University of Hawaii there. Oh. Minnesota State Mavericks choking out what is this late rotation from UT Orange. We see them on the very edge of zone against the likes of teams like the Blue Falcons as well. Full couple of burns here, and they got to be careful. If they full commit onto UT Orange on the bridge, they can be third party by the Blue Falcons. Orange with the shields that will yield down here. The coverage and safety among gods, but shot in the backside. Now the Minnesota State Mavericks have to turn around. Nipman is brought down by the ring, and the Minnesota squad has to hold out Blue Falcons where they can. You can see the Maggie balls that have given them their speed. You can only hope Speed Demon and Trev Michi have got the line of sight here to punish the rest of the Falcons roster. A round 3 ticking burn is not no idle feat to deal with. Quick port play from Schmalls to get the entire Minnesota State roster regrouped, and this actually might allow the Blue Falcons to get themselves set up. Here we go. Deep and late rotates there from the edge. Minnesota State maybe going to try to pop the balloons that be, but instead lets this one surpass. Meanwhile, that balloon, which I can only assume was maybe extended by the likes of University of Hawaii, Tamu gets at least the 1 KP on the exchange. Could potentially be more depending on the zones pressuring here. UHE lands right in front of Tamu, but for a lot of these teams, they've got to work their way towards that lava siphon side. Like I said earlier this game, Alabama, not in a bad position. This can convert very well for the late game, but if Augusta takes it away from you, well, there ain't no late game to even behold. Here we go. Blue Falcons, UT Orange, St. Clair, UT Tyler, all stuck on the outskirts. There's a lot of carts and buildings to play. St. Clair up on high. See how they end up setting themselves. This is a really nice spot for them to choke out all of these teams.
Enemy here.
Couple long-range knocks. We'll say goodbye to UT Orange, picked in part by TMU from the outside of zone. Don't want to see St. Clair. Blue Falcons going to keep rotating out towards the edge of the Minnesota State Mavericks here as Purdue Black pressures the Minnesota State Mavericks themselves. Meanwhile, Alabama, with that initial knock onto 360, they might be winning the pressure on Augusta here. St. Clair Saints trying to work their way into zone here. We see them hold out, but now they need to find their space in here. A couple of great breaks on the drone as they already find the peaks that beaks. Rusty from up on high and a good Sparrow ultimate will pressure. They just need a couple of good nades. Lucky looking from the other side. There's the Arc Star. Not much further that you have to go as UT Tyler are now stuck down below. Topher knocked and knocked. And with one final member, we found the full elimination. Congratulations to SCC. That's one of the better results I've seen from them all game long. Meanwhile, University of Houston picked apart slowly here by Texas A&M. Losing out on 1 and through the smokes. They've got to be careful about how they approach this. Taylor runs almost directly into Kai, but a quick turn from Naver finishes the job. Runs forward here, and Swifty from the other end will pack away University of Hawaii. It's another chunk of KP for the TAMU squad. Minnesota State Mavericks now trying to work their way in, not from the edge, but into the buildings themselves. Wall for wall, power for power here. Fight for their own setup. Beautiful line from Trev. Joaquin brought down as well means that the interior has become so much more player. Schmal is peeking from the outskirts, and you cannot jump over those walls the way you want to. Well, it didn't... that fight didn't contain Schmalz at all. And you know what? In the end, Trev Michi and Speed get the job done. Very nice job. Schmal's at least got the initial entry frag. I'm not going to pick on him too much, but that was very funny to watch him try to jump over the wall and do nothing.
We don't want to be contact
All
with
right,
hostile.
final things. Augusta, Alabama there. That high ground positioning for the end game can be so good to play out of.
That's a baddie.
We'll see how it goes. Calgary choking out what I assume is this rotate from Minnesota from the building galore. And himself. Someone needs to get in touch with Jeff Bezos. This is insane. Come on. I really hope this doesn't continue for the rest of Twitch because this is so bad today. Calgary now sharing space with a hodgepodge of rosters like SCC and SJSU Blue. St. Clair will be picked apart by the FSU roster from the outskirts there from their late rotate in. Calgary down below across from what I can only assume is FSU on the other side. Yep, here they are on the eastern side of this building. Up above, we just saw SJSU Blue. Now the Aries passed. Tama Maroon trying to work their way into Alabama step by step here. Peeking for the edge. And a good Sparrow ultimate up above to give them pressure on the zone. Double knock drops up and they break the Rampart ultimate. The ticks that be. The ultimate that burns. Another Rampart world on the outskirt. We're going to immediately peek on the outside there. Pair low, but the burns that now need to break the walls. Couple of extra information sustained, and Tamu have to get themselves coverage here on the outside. Give themselves the time to reset, but then work your way out and wipe out Alabama here. Couples wall for walls, and Alabama have dropped down. Augusta playing alone on the low ground. This could be a very good setup for Texas A&M. They just need to hold on to height here. And I'm not being biased. I'm not being biased. I'm just telling you, that's like the God spot to work with. At least to get to top 3. And by the way, this mass exodus from teams like FSU, SJSU Blue, Calgary, Minnesota, and Western Outlaws is absolutely critical. Alabama have opted to drop down, which, by the way, they got to be careful. There is a low in solo Augusta rat there. They have to be very careful about. Swifty point blank getting shot out from the height of building there. Gets himself the opportunity to play for some sort of reset. Meanwhile, Minnesota working their way across and found out on those final members of Augusta. And whatever this teleport is, Bama runs right into the inkling of Minnesota State Mavericks, who are now going to train their attention towards Texas A&M. But remember, there are teams that can... If I was Minnesota, I would want to hold out on that height a little bit better. You're kind of giving away a really good position to Western Outlaws right now. The Crimson Tide will be eliminated here. Minnesota, remember, they have the Western Outlaws on their height. Swifty holding out the outskirts themselves. Minnesota's going to set them down below. Now, you got to watch that zip line a little bit more directly here. A couple port plays, and it's up to pair. Remember, that zip on the eastern side still very available. Calgary now right up against the wall. I mean, we are working with seconds upon seconds. A couple of good gas traps from Swifty there will pressure. The Minnesota State Mavericks are really not that far away. Meanwhile, Pair with great angles from up above finally chokes this one out. We'll say goodbye to the Rat of Augusta as one final remaining member here from the Calgary's roster could be in their final moments. A couple of extra gas traps exchanged there. With round 5 closing, we've got to finish off a couple of these things. Your internet is striking more than TSA. I honestly think it's partially me, but I also think it's a Twitch thing, Tobrick. Western Outlaws, I talked about liking this position. In the end, they don't have to do much to retain it. Full wipes on SJSU come from the actual edges of Texas A&M. Pair there, triple KP in turn with FSU. The Western Outlaws sharing across from them. And down below, Tamu trying to find, for final moments, a beautiful Sparrow ultimate. Puts it right hook, line, and sinker there. Would have liked to see it exchanged, maybe on the edge of that mobile shield's ending. 23 seconds to go here. Tamu Maroon do not have a lot of ways to cross this, so they might have to play directly into the Minnesota State Mavericks. Same can be said for the Western Outlaws. As this zone closes in, they're forced to fight this against FSU. Crack for smack on the 128. Spend the Sheila there to break that castle wall there while you have the opportunity, but Gobble on top's far expenditure immediately gets punished by Tamu tracking the line. I don't know if Tamu's going to win this. The drop onto Minnesota is going to kill him here. And they don't have a way to cross the height. It's looking more like an FSU Western Outlaws win.
Let's relocate here.
Spotted one.
Daxon creating that portal down below. Might put them right alongside Minnesota. Feeling like a potential Western Outlaws win here. Just depends if Tamu decides to send this. They've got that evac on the ready. One good crack and a knock could be the difference maker. Meanwhile, Minnesota forced finally out from the wall. Here comes that potential Tamu drop. Mobile shield on the ready. Goblin on top with the Craver shot onto Pear as the EMP down below breaks the Minnesota's walls. Little hollow knocked as FSU's got little space to work with. Finally, Tamu is on the drop there. Couple of ultimates, they run right into Minnesota. Western Outlaws from on high. They're like pinning fish in a barrel here. It will be the wipe onto Minnesota as Tamu are down to just one remaining. But Western Outlaws, they just have to shoot. Full Florida, they're the final remaining member. I can't believe Minnesota gave away this positioning. Either way, one single nade finishes the job. Western Outlaws from on high. Everyone just tries to thrive. In the end, congratulations to FSU and Tamu from getting into that top 2 and 3. I do think Tamu picked up a lot of KP. We'll see how it goes. Let's jump on over the scoreboard. Now, notably, the first thing we have to settle is going to be that prediction. I asked y'all over under 9.5 KP for the likes of... where are they? Blue Falcons. They only got 1. So congratulations to the 100% of you that put under. You get your points back. It does seem like, though, our winners of that game are the Western Outlaws. Only 6 KP, notably the ones at the very end there. 6 KP they expend against FSU and crew. Minnesota State Mavericks, not much to better say themselves, but once again, staying competitive in KP of their own. The biggest storyline that we have to talk about from this game, and I'm not just saying it because I love them, is the 14 KP for Texas A&M. Great hold on zone, work their way in from edge, wipe out the University of Hawaii, wipe out UCSD, play into Augusta and Alabama's positioning, take away the height successfully against Alabama, and there you go. 14 KP, 21 scores. That's something that will keep them maybe not completely confirmed, but potentially on their way in the top 10 here. FSU there, also a really nice game from themselves. Second place finish with 4 KP. Managed to sneak that one in there. Once again, rough starts for ISU Farmers. Really tough starts. This is not great. UT Orange also kind of on the struggle bus a little bit here after what was a second place finish in the lower bracket last week. A couple big fails from Ottawa Braves and Blue Falcons after their double dub. Let's take a look at that overall, but more importantly, hold on, let's do our first place winners was the Western Outlaws. We had 1 KP, 8 KP, 6 KP. Here's the prediction, guys. I don't know who's here. Here we go. Over, under 7.5 KP Western Outlaws. There you guys go. Actually, I'm going to make that a little lower. Let's do 5.5 KP. Yeah. I think they can do it. Over, under. Get your bets in. We've only got 2 minutes to go on it. Over, under 5.5 KP Western Outlaws. Let's take a look at our overall while we got the chance. Blue Falcons still hold the lead, albeit they walk out of that game with a score of 2. The Western Outlaws, as a result, do jump up with their dub. Only by, though, 2 points above the likes of the Ottawa Braves and the Minnesota State Mavericks, who are now officially tied after the Minnesota puts up 15 that game. Pretty competitive, and ultimately, I would say just about 2 or 3 points for all 3 of these teams from complete 100% certainty qualification. Now, as we look down here, FSU Garnet with 24, UFC Exodus with 24, Tamu Maroon, the biggest jump on the day with 12 massive rotate, whatever, you get what I meant. It's 12. They switch 12. They go from 19th to 7th. 22 points there will keep them competitive, but they're still going to need about 14 more points alongside UFC and FSU needing about 12 here. Utah Valley Black and Augusta and, hey, St. Clair round out your top 10 with West Virginia and UT Orange just alongside them there on the cusp. We've got one more game of World's Edge to go. The big thing I'm going to be watching out for is how does it start with the early game. ISU particularly struggled here against UT when they should not have. So, we'll see how it goes. Say. right. Well, the biggest thing we'll have to watch out for is that fight against ISU there, and even Tamu against UCSD Gold. Right? So. As is tradition, before we get into the game, as we're looting things out here, and we're looking at map quite a bit, I will solve this Rubik's Cube as I usually do, because that is the distraction that presents itself. There we go. My white cross is slow as molasses. My F2L ain't much better at myself here. That kind of worked. I should have just rotated the cube. I don't know why it took so long. I have to hold it up so high to show you guys that I'm doing a cube.
Attention.
It looks kind of crazy.
Harvesters are online.
Harvester here.
So slow.
I hope we can be friends.
It feels like I'm solving it so fast sometimes, but the reality is I'm not. Alright. Couple of early rotates from SCC right off of the bat here. That's going to get them hopefully set up for the end game. Meanwhile, UT Orange just as quickly making their way out towards the countdown area. See how they set themselves up. Couple of early shots there from Spicy Boy down with the gravity lift. Oh, I didn't even get to check who the ban was. The ban's Wraith. So, even more safety.
Enemy there. Optics here.
Target over there.
All right. Final zone lobby here. Not quite explicitly detailed. We have a lot of rotates towards that skyhook section from RIT and UT Tyler. Well, they start there, but follow through finally from Ottawa, coming off of the edge of Fissure here. UT gets themselves a rotate that's a little bit too quick, and in the end, finds them right in the heart of Ottawa's crosshair. That's the name of it. Not much better to say for UFC as they find themselves double knock drops down against Western Outlaws. Hopefully UC Orange will get themselves a little bit of a reset, as we'll be also potentially saying goodbye to RIT. Their rotate into Skyhook, inevitably punished by, well, the fact that it is still particularly early there. And you can see a couple of responses back on UT Tyler. Full thirst on Ann there in the kill feed. SJSU Blue choking out what might be the chase here in the center of zone. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, not much. UFC might be able to pick up that final member of the Western Outlaws, especially with SJSU Blue pushing them into the fight here. UT Orange with a rotate of their own, and there you go. Yeah, like I said, chase from Outlaws, or, okay. Ottawa chases, UT Orange finds the wipe. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Western Outlaws are officially wiped after SJSU pushed them back into Harvester. Woohoo! I swear to God, today sucks. Today is the epitome of it sucks to cast right now. Most teams should hopefully be able to set themselves up here. St. Clair, we saw them kind of in this toss-up between UT Tyler and RIT on this late rotate. It does seem like in the end, it's a bit of a mixed exchange there from UT Tyler and FSU that will put RIT Black away. And it's really sad, too, because they weren't stupid. They made their way to Skyhook. It just was too early for it to be particularly punishing.
Okay, let's go.
We'll jump on with the UFC, the Calgary squad. We've been looking for a little bit of a return, and now send them head in line and sither against the University of Hawaii roster. Lost Aimer and FPSA there, set up in their own way. Crimson Tide, my apologies, not Hawaii. Trying to rotate out towards the edges of Harvester here. That was given away by Calgary moments ago, and now a couple long-range knocks there. Right's way in crew.
Got an enemy there.
All right.
Enemy there. Fire.
Send it, send it, send it on a Bama. Roll Tide, put them in your sides. I don't know. Close enough to a whatever.
OT, let's go.
Alright. Finally, Blue Falcons here from the east. They've had a little bit of a struggle on World's Edge, being just as successful as what we saw from them earlier today on E-District. Win for win, followed by just 1 KP. SJSU Blue, though, don't want nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. They're going to pack their bags up and say sayonara. Send themselves out on a leave there. Viking Cap, though, all the same with the Sheila and a couple of nades, finds early success, but the separation on Shmub is what's going to make them pay. Still, Nitfen down in the send from SJSU as KQ All is going to look for that reset on Nitfen from behind the box line. The full commit to the Sheila will have to pay its price. Nitfen, the final remaining member, and a peek from up above from Viking Cap seals the deal here. This is a very important choke, though. I'm surprised that there ain't a third party in the vicinity. Meanwhile, the ISU Farmers, finally, a dub on the day. We could be seeing a resurgence like Texas A&M from last game. Group T, Asian Hulk Pro, Kamal Yakov, taking their setup in countdown here. No one is nearby. The majority of teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Half of our lobby has presented itself into Skyhook, with UCSD making that a quick 8 here soon. Meanwhile, Cloaked with a drop onto Little Hollow. Augusta from afar. Cloaked with another onto Balvini. And FSU Garnet are down to just 1 member remaining there in the central building of Skyhook. 10 squads in their way to Skyhook now, with UCSD and SJSU joining the fray. We should be able to get all 15 squads in here. Sadly, there is no Valkyrie to give them that early information to work with, but with UVU Black also doing the same, we're up to 11 now.
Let's go that way.
Could be 10 if FSU gets wiped and eliminated, but we'll have to wait and see. ISU have a very good rotate in. That building's a little bit of a I mean, this is a tough one, but all Group T needs to do is smoke off that height and slide down for the buildings down below. Now, RJ gets that knock onto Daxon, which tells me that there's a minor reset for FSU. It's Ottawa pulling for a height here. With a quick knock onto Balvini. Little Hollow with the shot from high and a couple of snipes there. RJ is low. Ottawa struggling as a massive Sparrow ultimate will find knocks from SJSU. It's just Daxon here on the other side, and she's begging for the crawl space to work its way out. Meanwhile, Ottawa, again, struck and struggling. 160 Surfer, did you get raided? I'm pretty sure Twitch is broken.
Come on. We gotta get you home in time to tuck in the kids.
Either way.
Gonna let you down?
Here we go. A couple of teams out on the interior here. St. Clair Saints and more. See how it goes. I mean, this is space and a half for St. Clair to work with. They don't really have to do much. Rusty clearing corner for corner, and he's going to work his way back in there. It's not exactly the most confident
Move that way, mate.
of setups. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Our target is here.
we are mega struggling. All right, West Virginia Westland versus ISU. A beautiful break on the Singularity. A Sparrow ultimate that won't find much, but the nade is the entry damage they may need. Like a spark upon a fire, like a firework that may set itself up for safety. See how it goes. Really nice castle wall, though. Defense. Stream's not going for more than 360 frames. It's up to 280 viewers. Yeah, I'm not sure Twitch is twitching, bro. I'm pretty sure things are going crazy. Shows 12. Shows 12 for me. It shows 12 for me. I'm not even kidding you guys. I think because I'll tell you this. This is the biggest thing. I'll say this network-wise. I can run my speed up and down. I'm getting full clarity in Apex on my second PC. So I'm pretty sure Twitch is shit the bed today. This is the best lobby we've ever had. And Twitch has decided to just absolutely crap out. All right. Texas A&M, whether you can watch it or not, here comes the Goon Squad. One knock on to the likes of Calgary from now, pressuring on the truck that be. UFC have set themselves up wall upon wall. It's only gonna do a little bit of damage there. I would not be Texas A&M peeking this. You just heard that Sheila. Choke them out with zone. Don't choke them out with bad positioning. Up against the edge of wall, Sheila will rip through you if you are not careful, gentlemen. Come on. And now they're shot from the other side. Might be the rotate there from University of Calgary. Really nice gas traps on the interior. Tries to set oneself up in the building. Swifty picks that one back up. Might be looking for another rotate around the back to get it going. Calgary did try to teleport. Instead, set themselves up on roof for now. Breaking that wall in the interior. Couple of exchanges. Pair pushing in from the other end. Careful. You're still working in to a rampart. There we go. Sparrow ultimate down. Begins its ticking. Almost immediate wipes out there. So you got to be careful on the left-hand side. Remember, Tamu, choke them out with zone. Not with this. Point blank, though. 1 for 1 there. A re-knock onto Swifty, and Tamu's final moments are brought with absolute terrible decision-making. Did not happen. I don't know how to express that if you see a Rampart squad that is playing that tight, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, do you have a brain? Do you have the capacity to think? Because clearly they don't, right? That is absolutely the dumbest thing I ever saw. You have zone advantage. You have the choke on them in car, and then you have the choke on them in building. Just play zone. Pressure them out. And if you miss it, oh well. You're not going to win into amped cover. Oh, it's not even the amped cover that does it. It's just ultimately the dumb positioning. You're not going to outmaneuver someone on a building push without primary utility. And the minute that Sparrow ultimate goes down, and the minute your gas traps are overtaken even before that, get out.
Go near me.
Skyhook zone, and they don't prioritize it whatsoever. This roster doesn't make conscious decisions anymore. They just decide to fuck around and be useless all the time. I could not be more disappointed in what Tamu Marine has become.
Check out this way.
What else is new with Twitch? Twitch is struggling, bro. Sup, Tempo. It is the day of peak enjoyment. I'm so excited for the Tuesday power ranking. Yeah, we'll see.
Time to move that way.
13 squads remaining. Skyhook, and the reality is you're not going to see
Target
much.
here. Time to
This
say
is
hi.
a scenario where the majority of squads should be able to survive on building upon building. And even if we look towards that next rotate into zone there, one building is completely empty for Augusta or UCSD. And so many of the fence lines and the multiple floors can be tried and held here. It is going to be a cluster. Tech issues cross floor, PR issues cross floor, IRL issues every single year. If only there was a competitor, Tempo. If only there was a competitor. Damn. Couple of major knocks on the University of Hawaii there, as they'll be our first team truly eliminated. Utah Valley Black on their way in against ISU. Remember, this is a building that can be held by multiple. It's good to force Kamal down to play the same floor as Group T, and it's a bit of a struggle. I don't know if UT Valley's going to try and pressure this for this, but good singularity is almost immediately bombarded here. Nice jump from Valley. YouTube kick. Dude, if YouTube had a better streaming platform, I would do it. I would do it. I'd absolutely do it. Minnesota State Mavericks picked by SEC. We saw them on the outskirts here. Top 10 remaining. I'm really serious. You should have all 10 of these squads make their way in. There's a bit of a handhold by Augusta and UCSD out towards the top side of zone, but it looks like UCSD are going to kind of play it slow and low underneath, and then the extra buildings available. You can see this from St. Clair Saints, who've done a really good job choking out these late rotates. There's Augusta, not Krabered from Daxon up above, and they're going to get that reset off, but they got the edge of that zone to work with.
Let's go this way.
Crimson Tide, they're going to get themselves in, and like I said, all 11. Really nice job from these 11 teams. They actually made it happen. Like, made it work. It's not a hard thing to make a skyhook zone work.
Check out that area.
If you can't do it, go back to the drawing board. Relearn Apex Legends. Point blank ISU Farmers fight for fights against UVU here. Knock for knocks there on ISU, and they're losing what shouldn't be a fight they should ever lose. Group T down, Eddie Dogbro. Kamal's got to make this happen himself, but the minute he peeks that stair line, he is just as quickly assaulted upon. Zip for zip and a track on the tie ground. Losing out this one piece by piece. They're not able to find it. Instead, it's Viking Cap on the outside. I saw the Dallas Esports stuff. That place looks sick. Yeah, UTD looks absolutely amazing. Overstat is pinned.
In my freaking face.
Overstat is pinned, Mez. It's up above. Right, well, SJSU Blue might be able to track these final moments. Ooh, baby, I know it. Ooh. It's very rare that we get the half-slit center between the center of Skyhook and the building right across it. Isn't it crazy how everyone switched to AWS servers and now it's all shit?
Targets have passed
Dude, the constant assumption of AWS servers being trashed just kills me. It just kills me. All right, SJSU Blue here. Point blank now with nowhere to go. Stuck on the edge of zone. Zip lines pressuring the Kosu Shmub and Viking Cap. Pressured with only the walls that be there from Viking Cap. Saving the day. Here we go. UT Tyler losing out on one. Likely a full thirst to follow suit here as everyone is competing floor for floor. Space for space. Here we go. Surprisingly, UT Tyler's third still alive there on the low ground, but once again, all 10 squads still yet alive going into a round 5 close. We are down to our fourth game of the series, and this is how competitive it is right now. Point blank climb up from UT Valley Black there, unable to find it, instead finds himself on the wrong floor. Schmiggles dropped by UT Tyler in a point break of revenge. Couple of extensions out, and SJSU Blue are able to find Ann down as they try to pressure on UT Tyler, seeing they've got themselves that numbers advantage. Even still, the burn, so tough to eclipse here. Gas for gas, and it is a struggle. Calgary up on high. This is the team that holds the high ground here comparatively to these rosters. Meanwhile, St. Clair and West Virginia Wesleyan on the outside. FSU, Alabama playing central position. Guys, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to cast what occurs in the next 22 seconds because it is about to be pure chaos. St. Clair Saints trying to peek down below onto West Virginia Wesleyan. Here we go. They already had the damage advantage, but instead they're going to try to prioritize the outskirts here. Choking out Augusta on their first rotate. Really nice line knock onto 424. 360 Swole and the rest are still alive. We're going to opt to utilize the Sparrow ultimate pressure even further. 108 and the walls breaks. Toasted Grill down, and it is just 360 playing behind the knockdown shields. Meanwhile, UFC pressuring from up above, already making their way to the outskirts as SAC holds on for dear life in the second place flooring here. Center's going to lose out on its coverage way sooner here, so expect UCSD Gold, FSU, and Alabama to make an exchange. 360 inevitably caught out by West Virginia on their hold. Great job from them, wiping out all three members there. University of Calgary with only seconds to split on their height. They got to pressure the height that be. Drops on Little Hollow. FSU make their way down to the crane line on center position there. Full thirst as FSU immediately are punished. Same can be potentially said for UCSD Gold and Alabama as St. Clair Saints now with Rusty down, wipe out West Virginia on the outskirts. They only got a couple of seconds to get this revive back up on Rusty as the rest of the lobby is collapsing piece for piece here. SJSU on the outside of this external building. They've got the height of STC, and they're going to watch this drop from UFC. It's a really nice setup there that will send them out alongside UCSD Gold, Alabama, SCC, SJSU up above here. One more remaining roster down below. SJSU have the height advantage, but the outskirts are going to be so punishing. Sheila into point-blank range doesn't result in much of anything, but it is going to absolutely destroy the southern edge of zone. UT Tyler with the peak, and it is all Alabama all day long. All three members are still alive here. St. Clair barely have themselves pulled together, and for the Bama squad, I can't believe I'm saying it, they have found a dub when they've needed it most. Holy shit.
champions.
I wish our Alabama fans were here today. They're one of the more vocal communities that like to hang out. Oh my God. Congratulations to Alabama. Let's take a look at that point spread on the board here. Game 4 officially completed. It is the dub for the Crimson Tide, but Bama does only walk away with 15. SJSU and St. Clair respectively with 11 KP, 20 and 16. I asked y'all in the predictions over under 5.5 KP for the Western Outlaws. Sadly, your Outlaws really struggled this game and only walked away with 0. Congratulations to our under. I don't know if it's AW's fault, but Apex server is still having slow-mo issues and the motive. It is Apex and it is also AWS. All right. Managed predictions, starter predictions. Our winners of that game, the Crimson Tide. There's not going to be much to bet with because they've had a 4, a 3, a 0, and a 0. We're going to go low on this one. 2.5. Over, under, 2.5. Bama. There you guys go. Gonna give it a little bit longer since we're not in game. You got 5 minutes to get your predictions in. 2.5 KP. Yeah, mainly used for the minor league hockey team. It's general area, the Boeing Tech Center. Dude, the Boeing Tech Center is sick. We played there for the NECC Apex Finals. That shit was awesome. They don't have exhibition. I'm just a noob. This lobby... No, so this is not a seeding lobby, guys. This is top 10 move on to match point premiere. So 10 moved on last week in the upper lobby, and then the bottom lobby 10 moved down. That the 10 teams that moved up to height and the 10 teams that moved down are the exhibition match. Top 10 from this lobby go to finals next week. So right now, shout out to those who played in this match. UFC, UT Tyler round out our top 5. The rest, In the end, the overall standings currently present 57 for Blue Falcons. Iowa Braves jumps up a little bit there. Western Outlaws kind of teetering on the edge here. Now, Minnesota State Mavericks, UC Exodus tie alongside the Western Outlaws. 37, 37, 37, 36 should be okay. Alongside them, FSU Garnet, 29, and then a very tight race here towards the 12th and 13th area to 8th. SJSU Blue jump up spastically after what was a massive 16-point game from 10 to 26. St. Clair jumps up from 16 to 20. Tamu Maroon's going to fall a little bit here. They're on the cusp now as the Crimson Tide, they just barely eke their way in, going from 8 all the way to 23. Utah Valley Black beaten on the tie because they have a better placement game. 23 points there. West Virginia, Wesleyan Kaiju, Augusta, and UT Tyler all very, very close. So we are literally down to just a point spread and a half. If FSU, SJSU Blue, TAMU, UA Crimson Tide, Valley Black, West Virginia, Augusta, UT Tyler, if any one of those rosters has a very good final game, like a top 5 finish with 6 KP, they're going to make it at this point. And it's good because they've stayed competitive. They stayed in the top 20. They're not an RIT Black with 2 points or a Purdue Black with 7 or an ISU, which is the biggest shock of the day, with 7. Can't believe we're looking at a 7-point ISU. They need to get their shit together. Like I said, the Asian Asian as well. Lol. All right. Here we go. Take a look at the drops because we're going to our final map of the day. One of my favorites to watch, Storm Point here. Let's kind of take a look at some of the teams that are on the cusp because that's what's really matters. So we'll start with SJSU Blue, and we'll go to TAMU and Crimson Tide. So SJSU Blue, they'll be starting on Storm Point. Oh, there's TAMU. TAMU's in Checkpoint, a very classic TAMU start. This is old age TAMU starts. SJSU Blue out towards Stormcatcher. They do have the likes of the Blue Falcons right next to them, but they do have some very easy pickups against RIT Black and Purdue Black if they want some KP. All right. Twitch is genuinely horrendous. I'm getting tilted pressing this red button. Damn. That's crazy. Wait, I'm gonna run a speed test real quick, just for fun. I'm so curious to see what the speed test is right now. Well, this shit sucks. In the end, let's keep going over the standings while you guys might or may not be here. I apologize. You know what's funny? Every time I press it, Zephyr gets another view, and that's why he's jumping the 40 back down. Let's go. Press that shit. Time to lie to sponsors. I don't know. I make myself laugh. All right. Either way, this makes me so sad. All right, I've restarted it again. This shit sucks. Just stream on Discord for us at this point. You guys are funny. All right. Restart looks like it has worked for now. Go live on TikTok. I would have to verify my age on there, and I don't feel comfortable doing that with TikTok yet. I feel very weird. They want me to send a picture of myself and my ID because they think I'm yeah, you have to be over 18 to go live on TikTok. 100%. So, you're unable to do that until you verify your age. Also, I feel like stream's going to work a lot better now. I swear I did a few weeks ago. I didn't have to do any verification. Oh, okay. So, Tempo, this is what happens. TikTok, if you don't verify, it will guess your age. And so, it will consider you old enough or too young. So, TikTok, fun fact, because of the content I watch, TikTok thinks I'm a child. And so they have unverified my age. And to prove that I am an adult now, I have to send, hey. I like a little brain rot. I'm a brain rot guy. All right. So TikTok thinks I'm a child now. All right. My TikTok, here you guys go. We've got a little bit of time before the game starts. I'll just show you my TikTok. It's right here. Here we go. Let's go. We've got comedy. We've got shoes. Something. Battlefield. Alexander Skarsgård. I don't know what that is. Hold on. Tarzan, more Alexander Skarsgård. Normal. Don't know. Oh, whoops. There you go. Nothing. Ad. I don't know. Puppy. Ralph Macchio. Oh, ear clacks. I fucking love ear clacks. Something. Puppy. Drewski. Something. Highlights. What the hell is this? What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. Anyways, yeah. So if it doesn't have your age on file, it will guess your age. And so, yeah. I took screenshots of the feed for Meta. Everything was related to urination. It was built-in defense to kick people out. Yeah. Amen. Amen, Bulldog Kush. That's my goat. All right. Game 5 underway. I think we got frames now. And we're starting off with a heater, with a beamer. My goats, the Western Outlaws, as good as they are, as horny for passion as they may be, they got themselves first line drop. I'm gonna keep the scoreboard up on my second monitor because
Wrong, you can kill me.
dang, Rampart is in my ear.
Enemy over there. Waiting to be stepped on.
Here we go.
Any takers?
Western Outlaws are relatively tight in the running here. Third place with 37 points. They should be secured for the top 10. Stop.
We just got that area.
Oh my god. Man. ISU is the bottom of the board here. Meanwhile, Western Outlaws quickly eliminated. That's not going to mean much. And the fact that Ottawa Braves are the one picking up this KP, that also doesn't mean much. Remember, Western Outlaws are in third place right now. Ottawa are in second place. So these teams are relatively secured. Now you've got Minnesota right next to them in fourth. Trev Michi from the Minnesota Mavericks finding West Virginia Wesleyan. This is big, though. West Virginia Wesleyan in 12th place right now. They cannot walk out of this game with a dub. Just be known, if my set didn't blow up yesterday, we rolling this lobby. Amen, bro. Amen, DC Deshawn. Here's the chase from Minnesota Mavericks. West Virginia Wesleyan potentially primed and ready to walk out of this game with a donut. Remember, they would only have one game to go to get into the top 10 at that point. Yeah, UCSD also in that bottom top 10. Looks like we got a UT Tyler wipe on RIT Black. RIT Black was the lowest 20th place team. Meanwhile, UT Tyler holding things out. That's it for West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju. So that's 2 of our bottom place teams. Now eliminated. 2 in the bottom, 1 in the top. UT Tyler holding on for dear life. They're in 14th place. These are 3 points that will push them just shy of the top 10 right now, but they need to survive a little bit longer. Couple of full thirst there. They're going to send out Harvester. This is Calgary on the other side. Point blank and a jump up to height. You have to pray you had more of a 99. Sheila with nowhere to go. The Joggler is dipping and diving, and that is it for Calgary. Once again, a team that is already safe today. This is a massive turnaround for UT Tyler. I'm pretty sure they just walked away with at least 4 KP. UT Tyler at 21 points now are in 12th place. Alabama, we saw them win last game. They're on the cusp of the top 10 here. They're not in the final zone. Utah Valley Black, really not that far away. Utah Valley Black and Alabama, 10th and 11th respectively. Whoever wins this will take away 10th place positioning. Utah Valley right behind the Crimson Tide. Hopefully they keep rotating in here. Gonna look like we're getting a little bit of that pylon finish. A couple of teams that are already there. Augusta, 13th place right now with 18 points. Need about 6 to get across. We got TMU, the Blue Falcons, with a couple of extra wipes there against Ottawa Braves. This is very good for the low half of the lobby. If the top team wipes out the secondary team, you've got one less strong team to worry about. And Minnesota's not far away. That's the 4th place team. Couple of full sends here as Nitfin will find himself almost eliminated. The Blue Falcons trained and ready. Beams for beams, the Knuckle Cluster will pull Nitfin back. Logan and the rest of Ottawa, 2 members down. It is just 1. The Ottawa Braves, the 2nd place team, wiped out by the Blue Falcons. Now Minnesota Mavericks, the 4th place team, chasing the Blue Falcons. That's the drop onto KQ. Don't know if we'll see much more. Couple of scans, and they're able to read that the Blue Falcons are just ahead of them here. These are the top-ended teams wiping each other out. This is massive. This is the biggest catch-up game for someone right now. If you exceed here, if you succeed in this game, you will make it. UCSD struggling, Alabama struggling at the heart of at Texas A&M on both sides of the equation here. Blue Falcons eliminated. That's your 1st and 2nd place team, no longer in this lobby. This is a huge game of recovery. UCSD steps up onto the paint here. They were able to get themselves pulled back together. A mobile shield will protect Texas A&M Maroon. looking for a couple of drills there. You don't want to be the end of the barrel of Lucian. He can absolutely shred you. Habaneros and crew, 33 crack, Rumbly low. Lucian just as bad, forced to drop down the dome. Naber broken apart here, and for UCSD, this is the success they've been waiting for. Full send down to the low ground from Rumbly as the heals are coming through. Habaneros down below. Pair eliminated. One more member of Texas A&M as the full thirst are on their way. A couple of extra beams. And Tamu Maroon in 9th place are done in 14th here. I don't think they got any KP. Tamu Maroon might now drop into 12th or 13th place at the end of this game, especially with Blue Falcons. Ottawa eliminated. You don't have point-absorbing teams in the lobby. Western Outlaws is gone, right? The closest team to absorb would be something like Minnesota State Mavericks or maybe even SCC. You can see them. Knox there onto Badger. Schmiggles and Inkrock. Hold out for now. Point blank Sheila, you walked right into it. Beautifully destroys the edge of that ultimate, but shot from the edge. Croc's gonna have to pull that one back. It's a waste of the Nox gas from UT Orange here. UT Orange, one of the rougher teams of the day. 15th place with 11 right now. Need a hell of a lot more to turn this one around. All right, Crimson Tide. We'll be potentially saying goodbye to them. For UCSD, you guys asked, man, they're 10th points right now. 10 points. Well, they're finding wipe after wipe. Remember, to get into the top 10, they need to get 14 points in this lobby, maybe 15 or 16 to keep it competitive. So, albeit they got that 3 KP from Tamu, they're going to need a hell of a lot more than that. Still need to see them get somewhere through the placements and also wipe out at least 6 more KP and into the top 5. FSU Garnet, another team that is also marginally struggling. 29 points. They need about 6 or 7 to confirm themselves in the top 10 here. The Minnesota State Mavericks, though, they've been confident all day long. Kill for kill, pressure for pressure here. UT Tyler steps up right into the front of them. Trevinici knock for knock, 2v2 scenario, and that Sheila's gonna make it hard. Love this from UT Tyler. Set up with the Newcastle, get 3 members back up. They miss out on that Sparrow ultimate landing, and now with Castle Wall available, gonna blast them back. UT Tyler in the driver's seat. Pressured now to rock their way back to Cascades. It's a big turnaround for UT Tyler. Speed Demon down. It is just Schmalz left alive for the Minnesota State Mavericks here. UT Tyler, remember, right on the cusp. Currently 14 with 17 points. They need about 8 points to make it into the top 10. A total of roughly 10 to 11 to be completely confident. Schmalz running for the hills. If I was UT Tyler, I wouldn't be wanting to take the one against him. But the full roster is making quite an extension. They do have that scan ability available if they want to utilize the drone. The Jonkler leading out ahead, running right into the face of Schmalz there. Gold cracks is going to be a blink and a whiff there for the Jonkler. Needs the rest of the UT Tyler squad to get the job done. There's Schmalz again. Mobile shield for a little bit of cover, and they've got the crack. That's all it said from Minnesota. Minnesota State. Done and dusted. That is officially the first place team, second place team, the third place team, the fourth place team, and the fifth place team. 1 through 5, all eliminated already this game. This is a bottom of the bracket recovery match. ISU Farmers, sadly, not going to be a squad that'll be joining us on that journey. 2 members down here, and a Group T spoiling it in the chat tells me that they're probably on their way out shortly here. It's just Kamal again. Remember, ISU, dire straits right now, 18th with 7 points. And remember,
Check that fool out.
Purdue Black, they're about to supersede them here with what could be these final shots. A couple of other angles as FSU finish the job. And that's it. FSU Garnet gets that KP. That's going to keep them healthy in the top 10. Welcome back, Maple. Great to see you on our 5-stream streak. That's it for ISU. Sadly, it's going to take a Hail Mary of a run there for you, Group T, to get the job done. You need an absolute burner. Welcome, Dash. One of my favorites. I tip my hat to you, good sir. UCSD Gold, they're the squad that's really been on a tear, though. Really strong positioning for now. Couple of missed drone shots. UCSD, remember, they've gotten themselves about 3 or 4 points. They need about 8 or 9 more to get into the top 10 here. Holding out the likes of UT Tyler, who are just above them by 6 points or 7 points here. So UT Tyler wants this just as bad as UCSD. Swifty Welcome. Get your fucking shit together, guys. Get your shit together, Tamu. What does bans even look like? Bans thus far have been, Valkyrie, Alter, Wraith, and now Bangalore. So, no Control Legends, no Caustic Band, no Newcastle, etc. Tried, but it isn't working. Get that fucking quitter shit out of my chat. If you're not gonna man the fuck up and get it fucking done for Texas A&M Maroon, why are you even playing? You, Pear, and Nabber need to lock the fuck in and get the job done. I'm sick of watching you play like a bunch of fucking brain-dead idiots. Alright? Fucking lock in. You had one good game this series. One good game. The rest of them, you look like you don't even have a fucking brain cell. UT Tyler crossing the distance for now. Newcastle Wall to block out the ultimate. That's giving him a little bit of safety there. Mobile Shield will defend against the bombardment. UCSD Gold, though, still have the height advantage. Lucian, though, getting shot out here from Topher, and this could be the end of UCSD. Remember, they need 6, 7, 8 more points. UT Tyler to fully throttle on the climax of the send here. Round 3 is a tick and a half, and they're going to burn out to zone well before this. Slow down, heal it up. Chonkler's eliminated there, and UCSD might be successful just because they rotated earlier and trying to stick nothing. In the end, UT Tyler wiped out, and now we look towards Alabama to potentially choke out UCSD after what is a very, very tough rotate for them. This is a big turnaround for Alabama if they can get these wipes. Already ticking on the edge of zone. Bull sends it to the edge, and UCSD are also eliminated. That's going to keep Alabama in the top 10. UT Tyler and UCSD just below them here. That's it for Hawaii as well. They're going to stay in the bottom 10 just as much. We look towards teams that need it right now. Augusta are still in this match. 8 squads remaining. 18 points respectively. They've started to make it into placement territory here in Pylon. Gonna need a hell of a lot more than that.
Standard stock here.
Here we go. St. Clair Saints, Utah Valley Black, UT Orange, Purdue Black. Purdue Black, mind you, all the way in 19th place. Still in the lobby. Getting kind of counter-rotated there by SJSU. SJSU, they are on the cusp. They're in 8th place right now, still technically in the lead, and I mean, this is a push and a half that will make this all but more secure there. Sadly, it does look like it is, no, Nkosu gets the drop on Tharquisha. All right. Purdue Black gonna have to survive as just a solo or a duo for the time being. That's that full thirst onto Tharquisha. Trauma, somewhere else, untitled. SJSU Blue having a very good spot for the end game. This might be the game that confirms their success. Utah Valley Black in 11th place right now. This is, I'm going to tell you right now, Alabama and Utah Valley Black are just about to jump Texas A&M. Problem is, you got lucky with a line drive knock there against SCC from up on high. They're going to be able to get those revives off, but SCC command this lobby as the 6th place team still alive. Remember, 1st through 5th no longer in the lobby right now. UT Orange getting a drop onto FSU. This would be big for them. Wipe out FSU Garnet. Right's way from Alabama, and Abysmal struggling on the edge there. It's not the most confident, but hey, KP is KP for the Bama roster. They're going to be very tight going into Game 6 now. UT Orange v FSU. They need every piece of KP they can get. Remember, UT Orange, 15th place. FSU, though, from behind the castle wall are not the team you want to be pushing even after that reset. You can see those P2020s. They're going to burn in the half there. Meanwhile, SCC, a knock onto 360 Swole. Augusta still struggling on the outskirts. We got just about everybody in the bottom end of the board still alive in this lobby. FSU, SJSU, though, and SCC, the 6th, 7th, and 8th place team, potentially giving themselves the security they need. Meanwhile, Augusta, Utah Valley Black, UT Orange, just trying to thrive. Augusta did lose out in Toast Grilled there and unable to really make the cross back. Instead, shot out from afar by SJSU. One more final shot will do it. Utah Valley Black just kind of getting those full thirst there. Kraber in hand, looking toward SJSU. Can't believe he misses it there on the edge. Here we go. Augusta finally picked off. They will stay in the bottom 10 for now, even though they made it all the way to the top 7 for the 2 points of placement. That's not enough to put them in the top 10. FSU, St. Clair Saints, trying to keep themselves healthy here. Meanwhile, Purdue Black stuck in the bottom 2. They're right alongside what could be the exterior of SJSU, so they cannot out-peek from this. Meanwhile, Utah Valley Black holding what could be this rotation into their building. This is one of the last building areas available. You can play this and the roof here, and only one team is going to be able to work their way out of it. UT Orange should be able to hold maybe the very minor hallway there, but we're going to have to wait and see. St. Clair Saints Green, remember, 6th place. This would just be a game to make sure that they're very confidently in the top 10. They're already putting up big KP in numbers, so 40-plus points, they should at least reach maybe even top 3 right now. Top 3 or 4. Same could be said for St. Clair Saints, SJSU and FSU. FSU facing the first brunt of damage there. Blocks out that Sparrow ultimate as the choke from Utah Valley Black is inevitable here with the potential Sheila on the edge of that door. Meanwhile, they have to hold the other end because of UT Orange. Kraber in hand. Purdue and SJSU Blue not forced to move for the time being. Instead, we're just really watching these 4 other squads try and set themselves up for the end game. They might not even go down yet. I think there might be a little bit of space for everyone. The hardest team that doesn't know where to go is FSU. FSU really struggle. All right, well, they get a castle wall there on the outskirts for FSU. That's going to give them a little bit of safety. SJSU Blue might be able to get a couple power-amped Kraber shots there. SCC up above, just below them, UT Orange in the tunnel. You've got Utah Valley Black, of course, as a duo outside, and SJSU on the south side. Now, I'll tell you what, it's been pretty damn good for SJSU, but here's the thing. They've got to cross a distance to make it work. UT Orange trying to finally make their way on the outside. They got held by Utah Valley Black game after game. They have to win this 3v3, but instead miss the pumps that count and have that Sheila to deal with. Finally, able to get a bit of the break the wall, sneak past the other side here. Burn for burn, Schmiggles down as SCC are providing damage of their own. Fleshbound and Utah Valley Black will maybe just barely find themselves in the top 10 here. It depends on Alabama and Texas A&M Maroon. Meanwhile, St. Clair did lose out on 1 in the meanwhile from that exchange. Top 5 placements remaining. Top 4 is Purdue getting choked out by SJSU. That's a great move from SJSU to give them the space they need to play into this zone there. An excellent, excellent macro decision. SCC still on height. Florida on the outskirts here. And of course, on the inside, UT Orange. Sheila expended from Viking Cap, and they're going to see if they can choke how this goes with UT Orange for now. FSU did make their way in to mirror the rotate from UVU alongside Orange, but they're about to fully present themselves to the UT squad. Bubble for bubble, this is not a playable space. The minute this ticks down, you have SJSU on your back. Florida State likely the next squad eliminated right into the hands of SCC there. Top 3 remaining. SJSU in their building, and UT Orange, or my apologies, FSU here, and St. Clair Saints stuck with nowhere to go. Garnet with just 1 remaining member. SCC on the outside. This is a competition of the top 3 teams that are already in the top 10 now. Daxon will be inevitably eliminated, and, SJSU have accumulated so much space now on this push. It is their game to lose here. Quick slide down from Shmub around the backside, but it was just a single rat. In the end, SJSU Blue, 8th place with 26 points. This is a game that secures them a guaranteed spot in Premier Finals. Congratulations to Shmub, to Viking Cap, and to Nakosu. You're on your way forward, boys. Here we go. Let's jump on board to the scoreboard. Oh, let me full screen that. Take a little quick refresh there. Game 5, SJSU Blue with 23 points. And hey, an even more handed 18 points for the St. Clair Saints there. That's going to keep them extremely confident. The rest of this board, it's just going to shuffle a couple things around. Even UCSD Gold going up to 18 points isn't enough to get into the top 10 here. So UT Tyler, UT Orange, Purdue Black, it's a good attempt, but it's still just 1 more game ahead here. I asked y'all in the predictions, over, under, Bama, 2.5. No one predicted. Congratulations to you. SJSU Blue, 11 KP, 11 KP, 0 KP, 1 KP, and 0 KP. We'll meet them in the middle here. One final prediction for the day. over, under 4.5 KP SJSU. Over, under. We're already in game, so you guys don't have a lot of time here. Get your predictions in. Let's take a look at the overall, because this is the most important thing here. Blue Falcons, qualified. St. Clair, qualified. SJSU Blue, qualified. I'd even go out here and say that Ottawa and Minnesota State Mavericks are safe. Here's the thing, though. Western Outlaws, UC Exodus, FSU Garnet. 37 is usually the place that I would say is pretty darn good, but we have a fairly equal lobby today. So even something like 40 can be the very edge of that cutoff. Here's the thing, though. There is a giant gap. We go from FSU down to the Crimson Tide. It is a massive, I guess it's not that massive. It's 9 points. 9 points between FSU Garnet and the Crimson Tide, and a 10-point difference between them and Utah Valley Black. Tamu Maroon does drop down after their failures in that game with only 2 points respectively. Remember, they're making up the majority of their scoreline from just Game 3 alone. The same can be said for the majority of these teams, really. In the end here, all that matters is getting, like I say, usually to that kind of 36-point cutoff. 36 points is where we like to be, is the statistical average for the best place of cutoff. Anything above that is usually secured. This is a fairly tight lobby, so it could be slightly larger, maybe 38, 39 points. Thing is, we do have that gap. We're going to be watching, especially Alabama, Utah Valley Black, Texas A&M, UT Tyler, Augusta, and even some of these lower-ended teams. If Crimson goes out and the rest of these go out, a team like West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju only needs to put up 10 points to surpass Alabama. Now, granted, that's hard, but all I'm saying is one really hearty win from any one of these teams can get the job done. Squads like the ISU Farmers, and I even say Hawaii and Purdue Black, might already be done today. You would need a massive turnaround. So from UCSD to Alabama, that's who we're watching. Get it in your minds. Take a screenshot if you need it. All right? ISU 40-point comeback, it's a possibility, but it would need to be fucking electric here. And that's going to add a lot of variability to these squads. Either way, our over-under is settled. Under is the bet for the SJSU squad. We'll see how that turns out. One final ban of the day is the Rampart. So we do officially have our first Control Legend eliminated. Remember, we still have the Caustic, and you still have the safety of the Gibraltar. You still have the safety of the Newcastle. It's not much. The only difference it's going to be is you don't have that preferential anywhere cover. I mean, you do have the castle wall, but it's a lot harder to set up and save the castle wall for the best timing than it is to just drop a couple of, great Rampart shields down that you guys have seen. So keep these points on the mind. We're going to go back to Storm Point one last time here. Final game of the day. Top 10 are on their way to the Octane Premier Match Point Finals. Bottom 10 will be relegated until we get to the playoffs. Not this next week, but after that. Remember, we're in Premier League still. Playoffs incorporates the best teams in Premier League versus contenders and open. RIT Black here against FSU. I mean, we're kind of separated, but there we go. Sniper's Mark on the docket. Not really a fantastic one at that. You only got a single bullet to work with here. So RIT Black, point blank against FSU. Couple of good shots there against J-Hoop, and man, they are making them count. Drill for drill, 75 with a tick on the other side. J-Hoop has turned this around with Little Hollow down. Balvini eliminated. It is just the likes of Daxon on the successful straight here for FSU. I mean, I don't know what to say. Realistically, if you're FSU, you've already made it today, roughly, at 37 points. But you can't get eliminated at 2. I had a paper due at midnight, so I wanted to die, basically. Alright, I got you. FSU Garnet eliminated. They're likely secured for the top 10 at their 37 points. We tune in, though, with West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju. A full send onto the TMU roster. The Blue Falcons have lost out on 2 immediately here. West Virginia Wesleyan, remember I said, they're at 19 points. They need a massive jump here. They need it to be utterly perfect.
All right.
Extra KP on the board is good for them. Meanwhile, UT Tyler starting their initial defense against Calgary here. Last time around, they sent them packing. Might be able to do it again. This was the start of success for Tyler. Harvester and FPS Aver eliminated. It is just the one. They got a little bit of that king ahead there down in the red room. And this full chase for Tyler should result in 3 extra KP. Puts them at 28 points and should put them in the top 20. Just depends if you can catch Lost Aimer. Matt Stanky, thank you for the 10 stream streak, my goat. My Twitch refuses to say like up to the live time. I just get error messages. Twitch is broken tonight, everybody. I'm not even kidding you. I posted my network stats in chat. Twitch is straight up broken tonight. All right, T Black here. We saw their success against the likes of FSU, and now maybe a little bit more. There we go. Chat, who's winning? Blue Falcons, I guess. Western Outlaws will inevitably wiped out by RIT Black. They're up to 8 points right now, which still they would need. I mean, they need to kill everyone. RIT would need to kill literally every team in the lobby to come out on top tonight. That is it, though, for the likes of Western Outlaws. They are secured as well, probably the same point scoring as FSU Garnet. Problem is, though, you are wiping out those kind of on-the-cusp teams. 37 points in 6th and 8th for FSU Garnet and Western Outlaws. They're probably safe, but you can't be making these mistakes this early. All right. So we'll see how it goes. UT Tyler, they got 2 KP. It looks like Calgary was able to get a rotate all the way to the edge there. Meanwhile, we'll check in with Hawaii. Hawaii versus the Blue Falcons. There's Nitfin down. Here we go. That's a big win for them. The Blue Falcons with just Pyro and KQall tracking the edge of this burn. Follows all the way to low ground as that Nitfin reset comes through. Hawaii with 1 member down now. It's up to Shake and Thi to keep the job done. Meanwhile, in the kill feed, we are seeing Alabama be eliminated. Full thirst, though, on the other side. Shake gets a response to Nitfin. It is just Kai KQL. Couple of good nades. Might be the difference maker. Tries to get the singularity out there. Pyro's pulling for the battery. Same can be said for Blue Falcons. Remember, Blue Falcons are at first place right now. They don't really need this. Hawaii all the way down in 18th. They would need a massive game. So the fact that they're having struggles with this right now and aren't able to prioritize zone doesn't bode well. For RIT Black, though, maybe we're seeing the recovery of a lifetime here. 6 points on the board already. Hopefully looking for maybe another 3 here on the inside of Stormcatcher. Couple tracking. I can only assume the remnants of Hawaii and the remnants of Blue Falcons have moved on. Yeah, Blue Falcons all the way towards Stormcatcher. Hawaii still stuck on the inside there, down below. No one's gonna get too aggressive. They just want to hold on to their dreams right now. We're gonna jump ahead and tune in to what I assume is gonna be checkpoint here. Minnesota State Mavericks more than fine. Augusta, though, in 13th place with 23 points. They don't need a big game. They just need about 8 to 9 points. A solid finish on the day. Problem is, you've lost out on 4-2-4 and Toasted Grilled. And with 1 remaining member of Augusta, Augusta could be our first team eliminated down in relegation. 360, the leader of this squad, the best fragger, the ultimate predator on the map in many ways. Just gonna have to rat it out for now. Playing for placement, though, won't get the job done. Augusta needs more points than placement. Even getting into 5th place from placement alone from Augusta would not get them in the top 10. Has to be huge. Plenty of teams on their way in. UFC getting their reset. Blue Falcons get theirs. UCSD Gold finally shows up to the edge of checkpoint. UCSD, remember, 16th place with 18. Needs to be one of the bigger games that a squad needs to have. At least 12 or 14 points would be a very confident position. And a team like Minnesota Mavericks, well, they don't really need it right now. They are already safe and secure today. We'll say goodbye to Group T in the kill feed. And ISU, if I'm correct, we saw them lose out on Asian Hulk Pro earlier. ISU might be on their way out completely already. They could be our first squad eliminated there. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Point blank. UCSD Gold on height. Ball for ball. Minnesota is separated here. Habaneros gives them a little bit of safety, but it's ticked of their own on the Sparrow ultimate. Point Blank runs right into Speed Demon, and the Minnesota State Mavericks are leading the fight here. UCSD now as a duo. Take their time. Problem is, need to survive a bit longer. All right, back up onto height. A quick peek around the back here. Trev Michi sends it for I'm Rumbly, and one final member of UCSD is left to carry the torch here. This is not leading to a very big 10-point game for ISU. Could potentially chase this out further because Checkpoint is completely empty and Minnesota have the state to do it. Well, I'm sorry to say it, folks. With that final chunk of damage, UCSD are relegated in the bottom 10. My apologies. We'll tune into RIT Black. It's been good. A couple of massive nades, double jumps ahead, but with just Throx left alive here against the Blue Falcons. Couple of cracks there behind the knockdown shield. RIT Black marks another team done and dusted. They had a swing of a recovery, 6 KP for themselves there in the end, but it wasn't enough to eclipse the best of the best. We're getting that full pull all the way towards the Black Sands outside of North Pad. University of Hawaii keeping the dream alive. All the way, though, they're in the bottom end. Geraldo and Umshake wiped out here against the Ottawa Braves, and at that point, you're basically begging for a miracle. Couple singularities for the full thirds there. Stick just about nothing. Hawaii potentially running for the outside. Here we go. Couple of final shots in Hawaii. Another team to join the bottom 10 here. Ottawa, this time around in the lobby. And that's a terrifying thing. Meanwhile, Shmub, long-range knock onto Texas A&M. I would fucking hate that. Texas A&M needs to survive way further than 14th place. They are separated, though, inside that little nook and cranny underneath, so we'll see how it goes. ISU Farmers, resets galore, have gotten themselves set up on the edge. Here they go. Minnesota State Mavericks are going to hold this one out and on the edge of zone against Minnesota State. And with Group T in chat kind of spoiling it with his presence, this might be the final moments here of ISU. We'll have to wait and see. There's the Horizon Gravelet that's going to give away their positioning. Up to height, they're going to have to go for this no matter what. Round 2 closing, that Tier 3 is going to start to tick and burn. Here we go. ISU Farmers working their way into it. Point Blank onto the building, climbing on the inside there. Dodge on the nades, but still stuck with nowhere to go. Kamal knocked out here. Group T and crew now stuck on the inside of zone with Kamal eliminated. Michi gets knocked in response from Group T. It's a good response, 2v2. Kamal's, though, pumps them down, and it's just Asian Hulk Pro. Nice quick response there, and with Asian Hulk Pro kind of steady as just the one, they could try to set up the reset, but Minnesota's going to send this at any given moment. Couple of full thirsts, and even if Asian Hulk Pro is still in it, we'll have to see if he can manage to survive. He's still stuck on the furthest south side of the zone. 14 spots left and fully cracked out here. Minnesota are full sending it, and I hate to say it, that's it for ISU. ISU out. A very, very tough day for them. Blue Falcons also eliminated in the meanwhile. That's your second place roster, so one of the better teams not here. We tune in with UT Orange in the heart of North Pad. 15th place with 18 points. They would roughly need about 12 to get the job done. Here's the thing. Dome down and Utah Valley Black below. Utah Valley's trying to retain the top 10 position. They just earned themselves, and wiping out UT Orange would be huge here. Purdue Black joins another chunk of our teams in the bottom 10 eliminated alongside RIT Black and ISU Farmers, and I believe University of Hawaii here. So kind of coming down to the wire. Tamu Maroon setting themselves up for reset and recovery there. SJSU Blue trying to contest for space. Viking Cap around the back, but the wall makes this difficult. Break for break, though. Here's the full thirst on to pair. Nabbers down, and it is just Swifty. The final moments of Tamu potentially lie ahead with an angry Zephyr just as quickly behind it. A couple of full knocks there from 360 tells me that Augusta have come to play. 23 points, and they know SJSU don't quite need this. They just came out with their win, and so they save Texas A&M in a minor moment. We'll have to see if Texas can pull this one back together with Swifty ratting it out. Meanwhile, a re-knock from Augusta from SJSU. Just a couple more of that, and they might be able to pull this one together. Quick Maggie ball from SJSU to keep them safe and secure here. Remember, SJSU currently in 3rd place. They don't need this. They are already on their way. They're competing for seeding at this point. UT Tyler, done and dusted. Don't know if they picked up enough with that KP against the likes of Calgary. We'll have to wait till the end of the game. It's very tight for UT Tyler. I think they picked up maybe 3 points, putting them at roughly 28. We'll see. All right. I think UT Tyler might be eliminated. I don't know if they got enough points, but it really, really depends on Tamu Maroon here to survive. And Alabama, by the way. But Alabama just got double knocked. Abysmal and Wright's Way being wiped out does not bode well for the Alabama squad. A couple knockdown, drag out fights here on the edge of North Pad and the edge of Checkpoint. Every piece of KP counts. Augusta, sadly, was inevitably rotated in on by SJSU. We'll say goodbye to them, as they're likely the bottom 10 as well. Minnesota State Mavericks now being choked out by Ottawa. The perfect prime positioning. Massive Newcastle walls will glitch the fuck out and get Logan killed. Respect to my man. Big sad. Holy shit. Minnesota are saved by the bell that is Apex Development Team. As a result, Ottawa might be actually on their way. This is a massive Minnesota game if that's the result. Logan full thirsted and Ottawa down to 2. Stuck on the outskirts there. That sucks. Yeah, that sucks, guys. Ottawa's going to rotate all the way out towards the edge, and I'm going to tell you right now, Minnesota might just find Tamu here in a second, so I'm really sad. Fuck! All right. Tamu walks away with maybe 2 points. It's probably not enough. Utah Valley Black are still alive, and yeah, Utah Valley Black are still alive, and teams like, I think, there's a couple teams still alive that can take this away from them. So, yeah. Alabama's still alive, and Utah Valley Black are still alive, so Tamu will be eliminated. Fucking useless ass team this year. Woo! Good ass fucking chunk and a half there from UT Orange up on high. I don't know if they've gotten enough KP today, but with an elimination on to the edge of SJSU and with Cloak joining the crew, that's the top end of the lobby. Utah Valley continuing to survive amongst the likes of Alabama should secure their top 10 finish here with a couple of extra wipes onto UT Orange. We're kind of coming to a very solid end game as Utah and Alabama continue to survive. I'm pretty sure they will be safe here. St. Clair's already good. Calgary's already good. Minnesota's already good. We're really just looking at Alabama and UVU. So Alabama's out in 6th place. That's only going to work out to 3 points plus whatever KP they got. That's going to put them at roughly 31 and above. And then wherever Utah Valley Black ends up playing, it's probably going to supersede the likes of Alabama. Problem is, Texas A&M Maroon, UT Tyler, these teams, Augusta, they didn't get enough points to really supersede anybody. So we're going to probably see a couple things flip in the top 10 here, but by how much? In the end, we still got some of the best teams in the lobby left standing. Minnesota, Calgary, SCC. I mean, the best of the best within the top 6 are very much well and aware of this final lobby here. UVU is still alive, but remember, they're 10th place and only getting higher in the standings from this one. UT Orange is still in the game, but as a single remaining member at 15th place with 18 points, Spicy Boy here, there's not much you can do. By the way, I wish we could talk like this on ALGS. On ALGS, I wish we could sit here and say, this team does not have a chance. Mathematically, they're fucked already. They failed today. They're fucking useless. They should hang themselves. GG. I wish we could say that. That would make me so happy. Anyways, Minnesota State Mavericks here on the edge of zone. Potentially choking out what might be the last potential moments here of UT Orange. Utah Valley Black, not much more of space to go. Thank you for the points, by the way. We're so close. We're so close to the tournament. A couple of final knockdown, drag-out burns there on what I can only assume might be a very tiny bit of UT holding out on the edge. Minnesota chunked out, not far to move as well. St. Clair going to start trying to out-posture the rest of these teams. Maybe pick up some free KP on their way out. Remember, Blue Falcons were eliminated. St. Clair only sits 7 points behind the likes of Blue Falcons. St. Clair could finish in #1 today. But I will say, Minnesota making a good claim for that. If Minnesota wipes out the rest of this lobby and picks up the KP all along the way, they could even jump. They could even jump them. Utah Valley Black tries to extend the edge of zone, and well, the zone will dome. Schmiggles and Badger do manage to make their way out there, but with a couple of extra wipes coming through from Minnesota on the edge, Badger is dropped out, and well, they will be eliminated. Quick recovery with the castle wall coming through as Calgary's going to teleport up to height here and pick up the free KP where they see it. Here comes Calgary. Minnesota's got nowhere to go. Point blank, 2 members eliminated. UFC more than healthy to hang on. It is just Schmalls somewhere in the dust here. SCC just across from Calgary as they'll hold it on piece by piece. We got one final remaining team alongside them as well. It is UT Orange. Struggling. UT Orange, top 3. That's 7 points from placement. Meanwhile, St. Clair v. Calgary, maybe already breaking out. A B's brought low. It's going to allow UT Orange to potentially climb up here and survive. Couple of beams around the edge. Point blank with the knocks for knocks taking place there. St. Clair down to 1 member. Harvester low. Spicy, rotate. Rotate for the follow-up. You can clean this up. Come on, Spicy. Come on! It's a 1v1v1! A 1v1v1. There's Spicy. Lost Aimer's been brought back to health. Spicy's just gonna try to hang on for the final moments for UT Orange. St. Clair eliminated, but it is a 2v1 scenario. 9 points straight into the P20s. It doesn't matter if you have the PK. It's still a 2nd place finish, but a Calgary dub nonetheless. It was an excellent final try there at 9 points. It will be so close. It's really, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to come down to how much KP UT picked up and how much KP Alabama did not. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. We're going to jump right to the end because that's the thing you're all here to check out and see. Let me fix it. Quick refresh. Blue Falcons, St. Clair Saints, Minnesota State Mavericks, the University of Calgary Exodus, Ottawa Braves, SJSU Blue, Western Outlaws, FSU Garnet, Utah Valley Black, and Alabama are on their way in the top 10. You're right, Johnny. If UT Orange had won that game, if Spicy Boy had just barely managed to pull through at just the right time there, that would have been the difference maker. Because that would be, that would be the it would be the placement, and it would be the placement and the KP respectively. So UT Orange just barely miss out. Shout out to UT Tyler, oh so close. Like you're saying, Matt Stanky, it was a tight game today. Getting above 36 points wasn't even complete security. 35 from Utah Valley Black, 31 from Alabama, just barely eking their way in. Let's take a look at the bottom of the board. Who will be in relegation? Rejoining with us during playoffs, but for now, back to the drawing board. UT Tyler, UT Orange, sadly. Tamu Maroon could not hold on. Finished with a 1 point, a 2 point, and a 2 point. Augusta, also very sadly, 360, a very high quality player. West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju, I know Swikey Squid's been a fan and a supporter all year long. Sadly, West Virginia Wesleyan Kaiju will have to wait until we see him in playoffs. UCSD Gold, a massive pooper for them today. Lucian, usually an absolute frying face alongside Rumbly and Habaneros, and just could not get it going at all. Hawaii, also struggling. Purdue Black, ISU Farmers. Group T, just whenever, I don't know, when the pressure's on and when the quality counts, we just end up in a shitty situation. RIT Black down there in 20th. Well, top 10 teams: Blue Falcons, St. Clair Saints, Minnesota State Mavericks, University of Calgary Exodus, Ottawa Braves, SJSU Blue, Western Outlaws, FSU Garnet, Utah Valley Black, and the Crimson Tide from Alabama will be on their way to join, as I'll show you guys. They'll be joining Bellevue, Fisher, Southern Miss, the University of Utah, KSU Black and Gold, Cumberland University, Southeastern Oklahoma, Temple Cherry, and Illini Orange. They will join those 10 squads to compete in the match point finals next week. Remember, this is Premier Match Point Finals, so this is what decides your seeding going into playoffs, but it's the first Match Point Finals truly of the season, so you will not want to miss out. It is the first Match Point Finals, and hopefully Twitch ain't going to shit the bed where it counts. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in today. It was an absolutely blessing, and I know we had a lot of problems with Twitch. Not a lot I could do to that, but thank you so much. We are officially at 343,000 points raised for the Zephyr Collegiate Tournament. We've still got about 9 days left to go, so we're absolutely going to hit the margin there. Kindly Monkey's already dropping the extra points, and I guarantee you plenty more are. Right's way, roll tide. Congratulations to Alabama. You guys hang on to the very, very bitter end. There we go. Daxon and a couple more. Remember, it's going to be a collegiate draft tournament. So we're going to, put them in and whatever. Re-rank. Power rankings whole season. Well, we've got power rankings on Tier List Tuesday, Dash. Remember? Tier List Tuesday is going to show up here soon. Right? If you guys have any potential suggestions on Wednesday, let me know. How is power rankings on Tuesday going to work? Also true. I just realized. Re-rank players tier list. We just did the players tier list. Reconsidered Bama's place. You guys kind of suck. So no. You guys had a lucky ass day today, Bama. I don't know if that means much. You might be above Texas A&M Maroon, but I don't know. I don't know if it means much beyond that. All right, if you guys have any suggestions for what might be our Wednesday content piece, this last week we did Guess the Player. The week before that, we ranked all the players. If you guys are interested in some cool idea, let me know, and I will put it together, and we'll host and have a great time. As for that, contribute your points. Thank you, Nazetia. Thank you, Grap. Thank you, one other. Thank you, Daxon, Kindly Monkey. We'll finish off the day somewhere close to 350. 150 to go, guys. 150. Prediction. Oh, over under 4.5 KSU. I'm sorry. KSU walked out of there with 1. So it was the under. Congratulations. Contenders power rankings. See you later. Hide and seek. All I must say. Could be good. Could be good. Could be good. Could be fun. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Please feel free to like. Please feel free to like and subscribe. No. Follow the Discord. For my subscribers, we're getting those emotes. They'll be here hopefully in time for playoffs. Beyond that, let's do a little raid. Any raid suggestions, guys? Twitch recommends a bunch of people, but I don't even know. I don't know any of these people at all. I'm not even kidding you. It's recommending me a ton of people. Slowikins? Hambino, since he might be entering the collegiate world. That's a good one. That's a very good one. I like that. Hambino's always been kind to me. Here you go. He's playing Pokemon, though. So, I hope you guys enjoy watching Pokemon. Or if you're watching anything, just say hi to Hambino. That's the only thing that matters. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all. Bye-bye.